Good evening, everybody. Welcome inside the Palestra, hallowed ground in University City, Philadelphia for the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals. Game number one, LaSalle against Bishop McDevitt. Bob Long, Joe Winning alongside here on Bob Long Sports. So proud and excited to bring you some of the best basketball that the city has to offer. One of the great nights in Philadelphia basketball, period. And Joe, we have two great games ahead of us. A team in Bishop McDevitt being introduced right now that has not been to the Palestra since the year 1989. LaSalle here for the first time since 2015, and they have a lot on their minds. The 2 seed in the Catholic League. They had to come from 17 points down in the fourth quarter to defeat Archbishop Carroll last Friday, and they have a big matchup in front of them against a team that they took care of earlier in the year. But this is a different Bishop McDevitt team that has blown through a very tough Philadelphia Catholic League schedule, taking down Newman Goretti, taking down Bonner en route to a number 3 seed.
About a big-time night tonight. I'm really excited to be here. Got the call in to get the opportunity to broadcast from the Palestra LaSalle, like you mentioned, first time since 2015. Feels like so long ago that we were watching that 2015 squad with Lamar Stukes. Now we're back here again tonight with an opportunity to see our Explorers potentially advance to the PCL finals for the first time since 1991, I believe. So a lot of big stakes on the line tonight. And Bob, I think what's most interesting is talking about restoking a rivalry between LaSalle High School and Bishop McDevitt, two teams separated by about 1.5 miles. A lot of our listeners at home, husbands and wives, husbands going to LaSalle, wives Bishop McDevitt. My mom and dad, one of those two. So it'll be interesting to see where people align tonight. A big crowd for the Explorers, and if you can't hear it now, rest assured it's loud here at the Palestra.
LaSalle will be dressed in the home white uniforms as the 2 seed. Bishop McDevitt in the road black uniforms, led by Robert Smith, number 2. And number 15, Jamil Manigo, 2 guys that do it in a little bit of a different way. Manigo, a bigger, bruising type guy, and Robert Smith, that flashy guard, a transfer from Roman Catholic. And he's here at the Palestra, not just trying to take down LaSalle here tonight, but potentially to take down his old school Roman Catholic if he so has the opportunity in the final on Monday night. For LaSalle, the starters, Allan Powell, Titus Beard, Jake Timby, Conrad Kiska, and Zach Chrysler. Chrysler hit the big one on Friday night against Archbishop Carroll. A 2-point basket to put them ahead for good in the final minutes of the game. Zach Chrysler wins the tip. Manigo didn't even go up for it. And LaSalle is underway offensively. McDevitt in the man-to-man defense. Chrysler at the top of the key. Scans and now lobs for Kiska at the elbow. Glides out to the 3-point line. Now a back cut from Timby. No-look pass for Titus Beard. Gets it back for Kiska. Kiska draws a double. And now the defense flushes out. Timby, a 3 that hits from the left wing, and LaSalle with an early 3-0 lead.
Early heat check there from Jake Timby. 2 huge 3-pointers in that fourth quarter Friday night against Cal to propel the Explorers past the Patriots. Staying hot, young fella.
Amir Harris floats it to the wing. A long 3 doesn't go, and the rebound down to Conrad Kiska.
Bob, not that long ago, LaSalle Explorers at home against McDevitt, jumping out to that 18-2 first quarter lead.
An NBA range 3 from the top of the key is good for Zach Chrysler, and a quick timeout for Will Chavis. Comes with 6:58 to play in the first quarter, and LaSalle 2 for 2 from deep. A 6-0 lead here at the Palestra.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. A good timeout here for head coach Chavis. They have to remember, the Lancers have to have it in their back of the mind. The last time these two teams met, LaSalle jumped out to a 16-point lead at the end of the first quarter. They can't allow LaSalle to start fast here, and so far unable to defend the perimeters, leading in Chrysler and Timby, 2 big 3s to start out for the Explorers here.
Zach Chrysler has continued to improve from beyond the 3-point arc this year. He hit 2 enormous 3s in the fourth quarter against Archbishop Carroll in that 17-point comeback. And that one was from NBA range. They have the college line painted in blue, a step back from the high school line painted in red here at the Palestra.
You give LaSalle a timeout, you know you're going to see a different defensive set coming out of it. LaSalle bringing that pressure and falling to 2-3.
Here's Amir Harris. Swings it for Glenn Smith. Now they go inside. Smith's going to get it back after the pass from Manigault. Whipping it around into the corner. Smith has it, and he'll pull it back. 6:29 to play. Seneca Willoughby flashes to the right corner. Now back to the top of the key. Smith. Explorers in the zone, so Bishop McDevitt trying to get it inside. Now they do for Glenn Smith. Pushes it back for Harris. Harris now to the baseline. Smith again, guarded by Conrad Kiska. Pretty good defense. He challenged him and then got the rebound. And now a foul is called as it was poked away by Glenn Smith, and Conrad Kiska then fouled him with the push.
A lot of action underneath. Glenn Smith, scrappy. Conrad Kiska coming down with the rebound, bringing a little bit low. Smith able to get his hand in there. And, Bob, it didn't seem like a whole lot of contact. Didn't seem like out of bounds off McDevitt. That's the call. Lancer basketball.
Amir Harris guarded by Titus Beard. A high ball screen from Manigault. He keeps the ball now, pushes it off to the wing. No good for three. That came from Seneca Willoughby, and Titus Beard on a hop brings down the rebound.
It's a great box out there by Titus Beard, creating a lot of space. McDevitt doesn't have a ton of size, but what they do have is bruisers underneath. I'm really impressed with the way Jamil Manigault has used his frame, 6'3", 6'4", to establish himself as an offensive presence in the Philadelphia Catholic League.
The PCL semifinals here on Bob Long Sports. Bob Long Joe winning. Explorers, it was knocked out of bounds by Manigault on a good defensive play, so the Explorers reset offensively. It's the big man, 6'9", Zach Chrysler running the show. Now Kiska up near the logo. Patience from the Explorers. They have a 6-0 lead. Beard on the right wing. Has Powell in the post. Now Powell flashes back out. Beard still has it. Guarded by Willoughby. A skip pass flows over the head of Jake Timby and into the Bishop McDevitt bench. A turnover coming at 5:23 to play in the first quarter. 6-0 LaSalle.
Bob, McDevitt staying in that man-to-man defense. I like the matchup for the Explorers if they can exploit it. Conrad Kiska being matched up by Amir Harris. Looking to have at least 5 inches on the junior as Conrad Kiska. A matchup that the Explorers might look to exploit here moving forward.
Amir Harris, the point guard, was able to eclipse a little bit of backcourt pressure, and the Explorers back into the zone. They've incorporated this more this year, Joe, and they've been able to play pretty good zone defense. Now a drive for Willoughby. Extra pass to the corner. Glenn Smith thought about the three. Back for Manigault. A tough shot through 2 defenders, and he puts it off the glass and in. That one, Joe, went right over the top of Titus Beard and Zach Chrysler. What a move from Manigault.
And you saw the zone collapse around, and Manigault so strong, though, able to go up and over, get the bucket, and get the Lancers on the board.
Powell for 3, in and out. Kiska rebound, and he's fouled as he goes right back up with it. Realized as soon as he caught the ball, he had the smaller Amir Harris out of defensive position, just rose up and caught the arm of Harris. 2 at the line for the senior Conrad Kiska.
Court presence, able to out-leap, no contact from behind, so no over the back call. Conrad Kiska showing that athleticism, and another opportunity to stretch out this lead, get it back to 6 for the Explorers.
Conrad Kiska off the back iron, no on the first free throw. This is an audio-only broadcast of the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals live on Bob Long Sports. Bob Long, Joe winning. Mara Long doing the scorekeeping here tonight. As you see on the front of your screen, we'll have a ticker of the score and the time throughout this one. Full court pressure as the Explorers convert with 1 of 2 from Conrad Kiska at the line. McDevitt across the timeline fairly easily. Willoughby now pushes it to the left wing. Here's a drive from Robert Smith. Throws up a wild shot. It was halfway down off the glass and then rolled off the rim. Kiska. Powell steps back in transition, a little short, and here comes Willoughby. Transition opportunity without a ton of numbers. He'll go Euro step off the glass and is fouled by Jake Timby on the block.
Bob, a good opportunity here for you to catch your breath. A lot of action back and forth early on. I think that pace plays to the Explorers' favor. LaSalle with the big men. The only way McDevitt, I think, has a strong opportunity to exploit LaSalle is in transition, but LaSalle able to get down the court. Really a nice opportunity the last time down. Allan Powell with the head fake, creating some space, not able to convert. And on the opposite end, McDevitt now cutting back into that lead, getting it to within 4, excuse me.
Seneca Willoughby hits that foul shot, nothing but net, into a sea of white. LaSalle with the student section back behind the home basket, and it goes all the way to the rafters here at the Palestra as Willoughby hits 2 of 2. Bishop McDevitt with a strong army themselves of students dressed in the black. Kiska across the timeline after getting by a little bit of backcourt pressure. Halfway home here in the first quarter. LaSalle dressed in the home whites, leading 7-4 over Bishop McDevitt in Game 1 of the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals. Powell nearly lost the basketball. They'll reset with Kiska. Lancers stay man-to-man. Khalil Diarra just checked into the game. Beard with a baseline drive, flips back for Jake Timby. Now they work it to the corner. Conrad Kiska with a head fake, doesn't go up with it. Spins inside, and what a move. Amir Harris was there every step with him, Joe. He even saw the push and the spin to the basket, but Kiska just too strong, goes right over the top.
Conrad Kiska, a big-time scorer this season for the Explorers, second leading scorer on the team. You see why. Finds that matchup, works it off a screen, gets to the bucket and finishes. His strength in scoring around the basket this year has improved so much. You combine that with his ability to knock down a 3, he's dangerous.
The drive and kick. No good from 3 for Seneca Willoughby, but great penetration by Robert Smith. And that's going to be his game. Now Timby in transition. A 2 is no good from the baseline. Didn't draw any iron, and Manigo comes down with it. Glenn Smith back for Amir Harris. He'll skip it to Robert Smith, who pulls up inside the three-point line. No good. And a push in the back as Willoughby is pushed by Conrad Kiska. That is his second personal foul. It comes with 2:43 to play in the first quarter.
It's a huge foul for the Explorers. Kiska has to go to the bench now. Coming back in, Zach Chrysler, the senior. The only inside 4 so far tonight for the Explorers, Bob, has come in the way of number 10, Kiska. Be interesting to see if Chrysler finds his way back to the post.
As Kiska sits down, the 5 on the floor for the Explorers, Zach Chrysler, Allan Powell, Titus Beard, Khalil Diarra, and Jake Timby. For the Lancers of Bishop McDevitt, Amir Harris will inbound. Also in the game, Shamir Mosley. Cameron Gardner checked in as well as Robert Smith and Glenn Smith.
Bob, Robert Smith not getting off early in this one, not yet to score, but he's a threat. The second-team All-Catholic junior. You mentioned the transfer from Roman. He can fill it up in a hurry, so obviously a point of emphasis for the Explorers, not allowing him to find his rhythm. Defensively, I think they're doing a nice job forcing him into difficult shots and holding a 5-point lead. I think so far LaSalle has to be pleased with their defensive performance.
I certainly think so. You're 2 minutes and 43 seconds away from the end of the first, and you've given up 4 points.
Offensively, on the other hand, got to find a little more of the rhythm. And as I mentioned, a little more of a presence in the paint. You have the size advantage. You look across the floor at the McDevitt Lancers, their biggest body is about 6'4". I just think in Cameron Gardner, I think that's a prime opportunity for Zach Chrysler to really establish himself down low.
So a technical foul has just been called. That's the reason for the delay. It came against Bishop McDevitt. Allan Powell to the line. Calmly hits the first. We had an extended delay. And then only just now from Chris Calarbello, the public address announcer courtside, do we get the news that it was a technical foul. It wasn't, the player for Bishop McDevitt was not specified, Joe.
And Bob, I'll tell you, that hurts in 2 ways. Allan Powell yet to score in this game. You get him an opportunity to go to the free throw line, get 2 easy ones. That might be what he needed to jumpstart him. Alternatively, you had the ball underneath your own basket. Now you give it back to LaSalle, going the opposite way. Powell converts. LaSalle extends their lead to 7. Really, not a great effort there by the Lancers.
Powell, a corner 3 won't go. Brought down by Harris. Harris goes all the way to the rim, drops off for Manigo, and he was stepping on the baseline. Unfortunately, not great communication. There was actually Cameron Gardner inside, not Manigo, as Manigo went to the bench. Not great communication between Gardner, who didn't know where he was on the floor, and of course Harris running the break.
Yeah, you can see Gardner giving him an earful on the way back, but it's a little bit, you have to have better court awareness there as well. Working the baseline underneath, trying to give yourself an opportunity to score with Harris collapsing that defense.
Khalil Diarra called for an offensive foul. They went for the double screen at the top of the key, and a little bit of a chicken wing from Diarra. as the Lancer defender was trying to work around that screen.
Salle with 14 fouls, Bob. Something to keep an eye on here. We're still just over 2 minutes to play in the first quarter. A lot of time left to go in this first half. Foul shooting could become critical. A little reminiscent of Friday night, if I recall.
Robert Smith looks inside. Wasn't a great look. Zach Chrysler crashes into the LaSalle bench trying to save it. And it'll go back to Bishop McDevitt. But not a great look. Again, Gardner caught a little bit flat-footed and not Robert Smith's best pass. Good job by Chrysler to get into the passing lane, but could not keep it in.
I wouldn't say either one of these teams have really had a particularly clean first quarter, Bob. But obviously, first time back here, first time here ever for all these players. It's a lot of pressure to play at the Palestra.
A drive to the basket from the left wing for Shamir Mosley, and he lays it over the rim and good. 11-6.
In this situation, Bob, I think if you're LaSalle, you're in no hurry. You don't want to give McDevitt any more momentum than they've already accumulated here in the first quarter. Remember, the last time out, McDevitt held to just 2 points in the first quarter. So if you're the Lancers, you got to be pleased offensively with your output.
Powell, an elbow jumper is good. He comes off a clean screen this time from Khalil Diarra and rises up. That mid-range part of the game has been so good for him this year, Joe.
Pretty balanced effort so far for the Explorers.
Titus Beard called for a nickel dimer as Robert Smith comes across the timeline. He poked at him from behind. That's the 5th team foul against LaSalle.
LaSalle going to go to their bench now, bring in Manny Fryer.
Jack Rothenberg comes into the game as well.
So for LaSalle now having to stretch out that bench, it'll be interesting to see with Conrad Kiskin, Conrad Kiskin foul trouble on the bench. If McDevitt able to turn the tables a little bit and work the middle, work the inside.
Here's another drive to the basket, and again it's Shamir Mosley. Gets all the way to the 10 off the glass and good.
LaSalle caught a little flat-footed defensively, not getting over in time off that react pass to the left wing, creating an open lane, man.
And a giveaway. Thrown out of bounds by Allan Powell. Backcourt pressure by the Lancers. And a timeout will be called by Mike McKee and the LaSalle Explorers. Mike McKee, a first-year coach here at LaSalle, guided the Explorers to a 2-loss regular season, and 16 minutes, 24 minutes through the game on Friday, a PCL quarterfinal against Archbishop Carroll. It looked very dire in Winmore, Pennsylvania for LaSalle Explorer fans. 38-21. McKee very skillfully brought his team back to within 6, 5, 4. Got him down to 1 point. Chrysler pulled one down at the last 10 seconds of the game on a loose ball and was able to finish it over the rim. That's how they got here. For Bishop McDevitt, Joe, this is a team that, and you see it on their shirts, has been doubted all year long. Can this small school, can this school that hasn't had a ton of basketball history get to the highest level? All they did down the stretch was beat Newman Goretti, beat Bonner, and then take Roman Catholic to the final few possessions in succession in the last week and a half of the regular season. That turned the doubters away. A first-round win against the 6th seed, Archbishop Wood, and now they're here trying to find a way to get to the PCL final on Monday night.
Yeah, I really like the motto on the back of the shirts that I'm seeing from the student section, which is make them believe. For the Lancers, it's been that way all season long. If you would have told me at the beginning of the year that we would be seeing Bishop McDevitt and LaSalle College High School going at it in the first round of the PCL, first game of the PCL semifinals, I would have told you were crazy, Bob. Not for LaSalle. Expected it for the Explorers. Just would have thought for sure it would have been Monsignor Bonner taking that spot.
A drive from Manigo was intercepted by Jack Rothenberg. That's why you put Rothenberg into the game. A great defensive presence. 13 seconds left in the first quarter. Powell has the basketball at the logo. LaSalle leading by 5. Here's Powell, goes behind the back, gets it back from Diarra. Down to 3 seconds. Rothenberg gonna have to put one up. Gets all the way to the 10, and it rolls off the side of the rim. He went glass. It looked good. But the Irons so unkind here in University City, Philadelphia, and the end of the first quarter as LaSalle leads 13-8.
A nice defensive hold there for the Lancers to finish out the first quarter. Jack Rothenberg, not known for his offensive prowess this year, forced with the clock winding down, got himself a good look at the basket, right at the tin, not able to convert it. Would have been a big bucket for LaSalle, but still have to be happy coming out with a 5-point edge at the end of the first quarter.
Bob Long, Joe Winning up here in the booth. Mara Long doing a great job pushing us through with the scorekeeping and the tallying that you see on the center of your screen. Good news as well. We pushed it out there on Twitter at about 3 o'clock today that we'd be calling this game. Also got word that we will be available to call the next game as well. Roman Catholic against Newman Goretti should be a great matchup. The number 1 Cahillites against the number 4 Saints of Newman Goretti. Joe, that's a game I'm looking forward to as well. Roman Catholic has been really the class of this league all year long. Newman Goretti, I think even Carl Arragale would tell you, maybe not the strongest regular season his team has had, but they came out and were convincing against a really good Bonner Prendy team, and they're going to have as good a shot as anybody coming to the Palestra here this week.
No doubt. You bring Chris Sings onto the Corey Day of the week, and I'll take my chances. Combine him with Coach Arragale. 2 prime player-coach combo in the Philadelphia Catholic League. But Bob, I'm telling you, LaSalle, if they are able to sustain, get the win here tonight, I'd love to see that matchup one more time between LaSalle and Roman, which I think for a lot of reasons would just be electric here at the Palestra come Monday night. Something else to keep an eye on here, Bob, is Conrad Kiska, as we mentioned, 2 personal fouls, relegated to the bench. Interesting to see when head coach Mike McGee, if and when head coach Mike McGee will bring Kiska, the senior, back into this one.
LaSalle's going to go man-to-man here for the first time as they come out of the timeout to begin the second quarter. Here's a drive, a good look to the baseline. Manigo's going to get all the way to the rim. Can't finish. Rebound to Gardner, and that one goes. The weak side rebound. Chrysler couldn't quite get to the basketball. Gardner was sitting right there.
Chrysler extended out in the help defense, not able to recover, and Gardner doing a nice job of not only coming down with the rebound, getting it up in time.
Timby at corner 3 off the skip pass from Zach Chrysler in the post. Joe, that's a part of Chrysler's game that's gotten so good over his time here at LaSalle. His ability to pass over the top out of the post.
No question about it. If you're the Explorers, have to be excited with the play of Jake Timby earlier on this one. 2 of 2 from beyond the arc, give him 6, pacing the Explorers in this one early on.
Top of the key now, Shamir Mosley's had a great start. Now a drive to the basket, a foul is called as Jamil Manigo runs through Khalil Diarra. He was late getting to the spot. And Joe, for a team in LaSalle that maybe doesn't play man-to-man all the time, I think Diarra got lost on that switch.
No question about it. Coming down, the LaSalle faithful not happy with the call, but it's the right one. Diarra, as you mentioned, I think got caught up top, tried to recover down low. In that chaos, Manigo able to sneak behind, get a look at the basket. Just a bruising body, though, is Manigo. If you told me he played defensive tackle, I'd buy it, Bob. He's really put together well, but moves well with the ball in his hands. Nice touch, unable to convert on the front end.
Second free throw coming off the miss from Jamil Manigo. Second one will go from Manigo, 16-10. Make that now 11. The LaSalle Explorers lead by 5. Here at the Palestra, LaSalle now is going to face some backcourt pressure from Bishop McDevitt. It comes in the form of a 2-2-1. Beard in his own lane. They play it up to the middle, and a good feed from Timby to Chrysler, and then over to Allan Powell across the timeline.
Bob, last time out for LaSalle against McDevitt, their first matchup. Titus Beard at 20 points, held scoreless so far. Would like to see LaSalle give him a couple opportunities now with Kiska on the bench. Maybe he's your slasher trying to get to the bucket.
Poked away from Zach Chrysler, top of the key. Amir Harris is blocked by Zach Chrysler. He reaches for the rafters here at the Palestra.
Yeah, that's a big-time block right there, recovering for your own mistake. Chrysler running the floor well, deflecting it out of bounds. That's a jolt LaSalle might have needed to get themselves back on track.
Here's a corner 3 from Manigo. Doesn't draw on the iron. Beard keeps it in bounds, but then ended up stepping on the line as he tried to save it. An air ball cascades from the Army of Whites. The LaSalle students dressed in the white t-shirts here this evening behind the basket. Here's a drive. Amir Harris, too good as he went to the right hand. Got by Timmy and floated it home.
A really nice take that time by Harris, able to get through, get to the bucket. of that running floater that you're seeing more and more now, even at younger ages. These kids are coming in with that part of their game developed, the ability to get that near 10-footer to go with one hand. Nice drive that time by Harris, finish, and gets McDevitt to within 3.
A big block as Allan Powell got to the basket. Now a loose ball. McDevitt comes up with it. Shamir Mosley with the lay-in. Wonderful transition off the find from Seneca Willoughby. And it's a 1-point lead for LaSalle. Closest McDevitt has been since early in the first quarter.
You're seeing the effect of not having Conrad Kiska on the floor, that third competent ball handler for LaSalle. Looks like we're going to see the senior check back in now. I think the timing is right. He's a senior. Your head coach, Mike McKee, you got to trust him in this situation to not pick up that third, which would just be devastating.
Beard on the left wing, drives into the lane, pulls up, spins. Here's Timby in the corner again for 3. It's good. Jake Timby's on fire here tonight. He's found that spot that is his favorite, Joe. The corner 3. 3 for 3 from distance.
That time, Cameron Gardner getting lost in the defensive scuttle, moving himself out of position, and a
10-second violation.
That's a great defensive stance coming off a big bucket. Talking about little moments where you can try to grab momentum in the game. This is one of them for the Explorers as Conrad Kiska coming back in. A huge opportunity for LaSalle now to grab control of this game, as it looked like on the last couple possessions, LaSalle out of sorts. Now the Explorers with a lead at 4. Bob, a really good chance here, a really good opportunity here to open things up a little bit and give themselves some breathing room.
Kiska looks inside. What a look for Zach Chrysler. Tried to bring it down with one hand and lost it. Now a 3-on-2 the other way. Harris drops it off for Mosley, and he'll pull it back. Pretty good transition defense for the Explorers.
Good transition defense, but Mosley got to be attacking the basket there. Run that out towards the corner. That doesn't help the Lancers at all there.
Willoughby, and a huge rebound off the miss, and it rolls home for Cameron Gardner. Willoughby not the highest percentage look, a step inside the three-point line. It was contested, but it doesn't matter when you have the big body of Cameron Gardner inside.
Second chance opportunities are crucial and really hurt LaSalle here in the second quarter. The third putback basket for the Lancers.
Powell settles it at the top of the key. A couple of bad turnovers for the Explorers in 2 of 3 possessions. Beard has it on the left wing, has Kiska if he wants him. Beard's now going to drive all the way himself. He's pulled out on the back. The block up front was clean by number 3, Seneca Willoughby, but the foul came on the pull. You can see a visible jersey grab from Shamir Mosley as Beard went into a shooting motion.
And for Bob, here in the second quarter for LaSalle, Jake Timby with the only offensive production at all, the 2 threes. For Titus Beard, we talked about his last time out against McDevitt, 20 points. Someone you'd really like to see the Explorers get going here in the second quarter. Still plenty of time remaining to find yourself a little momentum, a little rhythm before the half.
Beard hit the first, here comes the second. Jack Rothenberg comes to the scorer's table to replace the shooter, Beard, and he hits it. So Rothenberg will replace Beard. Conrad Kiska sat down as well. Some early offense, defense, as much as you can possibly do it in the second quarter. You're not going to get the amount of stoppages, but with 3:37, a 4-point lead, McKee has decided he's comfortable putting Kiska back on the bench. And Rothenberg immediately creates a steal. Great defensive play, getting in the passing lane down low.
Paying dividends. A great job by head coach Mike McKee to identify a potential advantage in terms of transition defense. Did it that time. Bob, I know something that you talked about a lot on Friday night was that the substitutions, defensive for offense for defense in that fourth quarter, perhaps a little bit of an extension of that here so in the early goings against McDevitt.
And with that, the Explorers have that 4-point lead. Rothenberg has it on the baseline beyond the arc. Skip pass for Timby, extra pass to the corner. Here's a drive from Zach Chrysler, adjusts in midair and puts it off the glass.
Chrysler attacking the baseline, getting to the bucket and finishing exactly what the doctor ordered for the Explorers, regaining some of that momentum now. A huge defensive stance now for LaSalle as McDevitt for the first time tonight, potentially with the height advantage outside of Chrysler.
Explorers back into the zone. Here's a drive to the basket. Glenn Smith puts it up and it's blocked by Chrysler. An exaggerated pass comes to Powell, leads the break, and a huge block comes from Amir Harris. That was clean, and that was unbelievable. Foul called against Manny Frere as the Lancers tried to quickly move in transition.
two problems on the transition: a delay, a little bit of an, like you mentioned, emphatic, emphasized pass, and not a straight line D-line take to the bucket for the finish for Powell, allowing that McDevitt defender to collapse him from the side. I understand the idea. You're looking to draw the contact, absorb, either get to the bucket and finish, get to the free throw line, or at least get yourself to the free throw line. I thought a little bit more urgency there was called for from the senior Powell.
And an absolutely unbelievable retreat by number 1, Amir Harris, one of the stars. Now 1-and-1. Free throw is missed. Rebound brought down by Gardner, and Zach Chrysler is called for the hold after the ball was retrieved by Gardner, number 21 for Bishop McDevitt. We'll do it again here from the charity stripe. Again, a 1-and-1 as LaSalle has committed 18 fouls.
That's a tough call to go against a senior Chrysler. Looked like a good box out from our angle, clearing some space from left to right off the basket, but for Cameron Gardner, an opportunity now at the charity stripe.
And he cashes in on the first. 2:22 to play, second quarter. Bob Long Sports coverage of the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals, an audio-only broadcast. You can find us on Bob Long Sports. That's at Bob Long Sports on Twitter. This game specifically being broadcast on LaSalle_sports on Twitter, LaSalle College High School Facebook, and the Bob Long Sports YouTube page. Stay with us as we'll carry the Newman Goretti versus Roman Catholic game starting at approximately 8:15.
McDevitt doing a really nice job taking advantage of their opportunities. We talked about offensive rebounds converting into points for the Lancers, but also from the charity stripe. Bob, 5 of 6 from the free throw line are the Lancers in the first half so far. That's a strong number for a team looking to make a statement here in the semifinals. Their first time here since 1989. Unbelievable.
The Explorers with patience, 1:37 to play. Titus Beard has been bouncing it at the logo for no less than 20 seconds. And the boos cascade from above.
Bob, no shot clock. It's not the most exciting brand of basketball when you go to the slow down, hold for one look with about a minute left to play. But
on the other side of things, McDevitt's not coming out to get them. They're staying in a base zone, matchup zone look. 1:08 to play now as Chrysler has it.
This will be a
Conrad Kiska at the logo.
I'm really interested to see who gets this look here for LaSalle. Kiska, 2 personal fouls. You wonder, so often at the end of halves, they draw something up to free Kiska to get to the bucket. You wonder here if that's the look with that risk of picking up a potential third offensively.
Kiska has the basketball back to the logo. Now Smith comes up to guard him more closely. Powell has it. He's guarded by Willoughby, and he'll pull it back. 37 seconds left.
Head coach Will Chavez from McDevitt on the court streaming out those instructions.
A dangerous pass goes right through the arms of Willoughby, and the Explorers keep the possession. 26 seconds left. Explorers moving from right to left on your radio dial. Allan Powell barking out the instructions.
Talk about coming in for a landing, Bob. Ticking up to 15 seconds, down to 15 seconds. Here we go.
Powell has it, takes a double screen. Now Timby has it on the wing. It's intercepted by the Lancers. Here comes Manigo the other way to the rim. He finishes with 3 seconds left, and that'll be the end of the first half. Will Chavis and the Lancers bench excited. The McDevitt fan base galvanized by coming up with the last bucket of the half after LaSalle went for the stall game, and some momentum, no doubt, to the break for Bishop McDevitt, and the boos continue as LaSalle goes to the locker room.
Well, what a difference a couple months make, Bob. Last time going to the half, LaSalle leading by 19 against the McDevitt Lancers. Today, that lead just at 2. You knew you were going to be in for a battle. We talked about some of the shirts. The motto of this McDevitt Lancer team is make them believe. I'll tell you, only down 2 at the half. I'm believing in what I'm seeing. This team's legit.
They are, absolutely, and they have guys that can crash the offensive glass. Manigo and especially Gardner coming off the bench, Joe, has been tremendous on the offensive glass for the Lancers, and they've been able to turn LaSalle over a lot as well. That, for me, is the storyline of the game. It's offensive rebounds and turnovers. LaSalle's committed too many turnovers. They've given away too many offensive rebounds. Otherwise, from a shooting perspective, they're more effective, they're more They've been very, very solid from the outside, and at this point you have just about everything going your way except for those two things, but those can be very, very important aspects of the game.
No doubt about it. And Bob, I mean, how many times did we talk about limiting, we talk about every game, limiting the mistakes, limiting the second chance opportunities. A team like McDevitt, you know what they're going to do in a game like tonight. They're giving up size to 6'7" Conrad Kiska, 6'9" Zach Chrysler. They're going to bang you. They're going to body you. And so far, they've had a lot of success. Nothing cheap, but that shot goes up. And between Cameron Gardner and Jamil Manigo, the two forwards for McDevitt, their bodies flying everywhere out there. They're playing in a controlled chaos mode in terms of just attacking that ball at every opportunity. An area where they weren't able to do it in the first game against LaSalle, incorporating that press look to try to speed the Explorers up. But what a what a tough last possession for the Explorers there, trying to hold it for one too many passes, and a conversion bucket for Manigo to cut into that LaSalle lead. It's not the way you want to end a half, but the areas where LaSalle is struggling, namely in terms of giving up boards offensively, that's a correctable area. And assistant coach Tom Conroy, known for his defensive adjustments, I'm really excited to see what we're going to see here second half from the Explorers and what they're going to show us on the defensive end.
And anyway you slice it, all that said, it's a 2-point basketball game. We got a long way to go here at the Palestra. This is the Philadelphia Catholic League basketball playoffs. It's presented by Under Armour. So excited to be with you. Bob Long, Joe Winning, and Mara Long on the scorekeeping. We'll be right back. The clock will continue to tick on the right-hand side of your screen, and we'll be back for the second half before you know it. 3 minutes until the beginning of the second half. Welcome back inside the Palestra. This is the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals, presented by Under Armour, and live here on Bob Long Sports. Bob Long, Joe Winning. Mara Long is our scorekeeper this evening. Joe, this has been a great one so far. And for those of you that are tuning into our audio broadcast this evening, we appreciate it. And we hope that you stay with us for what should be a spectacular game in the nightcap this evening. Newman Goretti against Roman Catholic. That should be a lot of fun. But first to this one, Joe. This is huge for LaSalle, as they have an opportunity if they can win this game. And if Newman were to pull an upset against Roman Catholic, LaSalle would automatically be the #1 team for the PIAA state playoffs, the #1 seed coming out of District 12. It would go the other way around if Roman Catholic were to advance further than LaSalle or defeat LaSalle in the championship game. So of course that's big. Bishop McDevitt has their own state tournament run ahead as well. And this is one of those things where it's so difficult as a high school basketball player to really put this month into perspective, because you have a game at the cathedral of college basketball, and really in many ways Philadelphia bragging rights are as important, if not more so, than a state run. But then, you know, after this pulls at your heartstrings for a half of a week, then you got to reset, regroup, and go at it again against unfamiliar foes. It's really an incredible week/month of college or of high school basketball played on a lot of college floors.
But what a great opportunity, though. I mean, it's just so fun to be back down here and differentiating between the city and the Philadelphia Catholic League and the state playoffs. It's fun to be having that conversation. You know, for a couple of years, you know, there was just so much expectation for this senior class, for the Explorers, and to see the way that they've answered the bell. 2 losses on the entire season, and now with a good opportunity to get themselves to the Philadelphia Catholic League finals against the winner of game number 2, Roman Newman. It's just, you know, I can't tell you how, as an alumni of LaSalle High School, how proud I am to be sitting here watching this game tonight, right up in the bird's nest with my man Bob Long.
I'm so excited to have you. The A-team is back, and I mean you when I say that. It's great to have you up in the booth.
And now, as we transition into the second half, Bob, I think, you know, for LaSalle, we talked a lot about what we're going to see defensively. I think the pressure's going to be on. I think they're going to go a little bit more with that half-court zone, excuse me, with that full-court press look to answer the pressure brought by McDevitt. But offensively, again, I'd really like to see Titus Beard find a little bit of more of a role in the schemes in the second half. Held to just 2 points. The leading scorer for the Explorers in that first half, junior Jake Timby, 3 of 3, 3 big threes for LaSalle. Really answering the bell so far in the playoffs. The quarterfinals, he had 6 points, but when they needed him most, he's got 9 tonight already. And that's rounding off the scores for LaSalle. Allan Powell with 4, Conrad Kisko with 3, playing through 2 personal fouls. Zach Chrysler, the second leading scorer for the Explorers, give him 5 in the first half. For McDevitt, Amir Harris with 2. Seneca Willoughby, he had 2. Shamir Mosley and Cameron Gardner, the 2 leading scorers for McDevitt, with 6. And Jamil Manigo with 5.
Explorers start with the basketball. They'll move from left to right. Powell, a quick 3 out of the break, no good. Brought down strong by Seneca Willoughby. Bishop McDevitt, dressed in the road black uniforms, no trim and yellow numerals. LaSalle in the home whites.
People talk a lot about the difference that the effect that it has playing at the Palestra, the shot straight on. But the shot from the corner, I think, is the most harrowing when you're not used to it. All that space behind the basket with no backboard from the corner, that's a tough shot.
Robert Smith up and under and hits it in between Jake Timby and Zach Chrysler. A fantastic finish to tie the game up at 23.
And for LaSalle, can't allow Robert Smith to get going. Held him scoreless in the first half.
Kiska has it on the left wing, feeds it back for Powell up at the logo. He'll find Chrysler, another NBA range look. Instead, he passes it inside for Kiska. Tough shot, and he's pulled at by Robert Smith. I think it was clean on the defense by Amir Harris. It was Robert Smith on the grab. And indeed, that's the call. Robert Smith called for the foul, and Conrad Kiska to the line.
Yeah, not going to be refused that time in terms of at least getting off a shot, Conrad Kiska. Bob, one more thing to keep an eye on. Looked like that right ankle, Conrad Kiska, perhaps stepping on the foot of Amir Harris. You saw him walking gingerly. Looks fine now, though.
Conrad Kiska hits the first free throw. Explorers lead 24-23. 6:53 to play, third quarter.
The referee's giving Kiska a little time to walk it off, walk away. A little bit of an extended break in between free throws for Kiska. 2 of 3 so far on the evening from the free throw line is a 6'7" senior.
Kiska shoots into the army of students in white t-shirts, and Conrad Kiska hits both. 25-23, third quarter. Explorers nearly got a steal. Good job by Harris. Now Smith on the drive, inside, jump stop, off the glass and good. Another double clutch from Robert Smith, and this time puts it over Titus Beard. Tie game once again.
Smith, so strong, looking for the contact. Thought Titus Beard might have gotten a little bit of a little contact going up. Referees keep the whistle silent. Smith able to body through it. Strong take from the left side. We've seen him attack from both ends, from both sides of the basket here to start the second half.
Powell thought about a mid-range on the baseline. Feeds back up top for Zach Chrysler, the safety valve. Now inside on the block. Conrad Kiska, skip pass for Beard. Tees it up from the left wing for 3. In and out. Offensive rebound by Kiska. Falls away and hits the floater.
If you don't think Conrad Kiska knows what's at stake here tonight, make no doubt about it. Second half starting off strong from the senior. Had to spend extended minutes on the bench, Bob. He's coming out firing here in the second half.
Very good touch from Kiska. Obviously the physicality to go up and get that rebound. And this time it's pulled away by Allan Powell. He goes behind his back, doesn't have numbers, goes through 2 defenders, too strong. Chrysler keeps it into the backcourt, and Kiska couldn't quite throw it back. So a turnover there. Good hustle by Zach Chrysler, but felt himself falling out of bounds on that offensive rebound and was forced to hoist it back into play.
An aggressive take, a bold take from Allan Powell, splitting 2 defenders. Actually worked himself into a pretty good look at the basket, but his momentum taking him too strong off the back iron. Chrysler doing a great job. The big man, 6'9", running the floor, saves it out to the half court, and LaSalle not able to convert it. You know, you like what you're seeing energy-wise from the Explorers, just need now to convert.
Amir Harris at the top of the key, guarded by Jake Timby. They spread it out. Explorers in the man-to-man. Harris wants to take Timby. Feeds back for Smith. Thought about the 3. Now he turns and has to feed it back for Harris. Good defense by Beard. Harris goes right at Timby, and Timby is called for the foul. As soon as he felt the contact, he just threw up a wild shot. Knew he would get the call. And an astute play by Amir Smith. He'll shoot 2 at the line. 5:03 to play, third quarter. And one more chance to hit 2 and tie it up.
What a ride it's been for Bishop McDevitt this year. Coming in, expectations were there. They weren't here. They weren't Palestra there, I don't think, at the beginning of the year. And what you're seeing from Bishop McDevitt this year is a team with a lot of underclassmen that will be back. This is a team to keep an eye on, not only this year, but in years forward.
Amir Harris hits the second. 1 of 2 at the line. Full court look for Bishop McDevitt, and the Explorers across the timeline very quickly. Now a double team on Timby in a tough spot. Pulled away, and Harris has it. Throws it up the floor for Smith. Looks inside for Manigo. Didn't hit it, and Chrysler is called for a late foul. That one wasn't going to go. Manigo just short-armed it. And Chrysler came in late with the contact. Not one you're going to like if you're LaSalle. Oh, and it's goaltending. Wow, I didn't see that, Joe.
Yeah, I missed it. The lead official underneath the basket. Now, as you see, Titus Beard screaming for that timeout, finally gets it. The official looking down the court, making, I'm sure, having something to do with that goaltending call, not paying attention to Titus Beard. Luckily for the senior, able to grab his attention before that 5-second runoff.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. 30-second timeout for Mike McKee. He's having that exact same discussion with the referee. 1, how are you calling that goaltending? And I don't blame him for having that discussion. And then 2nd, you have one job. You need to keep an eye on the guy inbounding the basketball, and you need to count the time off. Okay, that's 2 jobs, Joe. But that's it as the referee, and he did 1 of the 2. Titus Beard, very fortunate Also very fortunate, Joe, that inbounds didn't come after a timeout. It came after a made basket because he needed to shuffle the feet just to get the officials' attention. That could have been argued a travel if it was coming off of a timeout, which, by the way, will be the case right now after this 30-second timeout.
And what a huge moment here for LaSalle. For the first time all night now, trailing, down by 1. The Explorers, obviously they've been resilient all year long, coming back from as many as 16 on Friday night, Bob. But you know, it's a different animal, it's a different beast that you're playing against here with McDevitt, a team that's just as hungry as you are and just as determined to make a statement this season.
And they pick up full court. Conrad Kiska guarded by Amir Harris. Harris is in tight on Kiska, and he's now across the timeline at the Penn logo. And he throws it away. Powell came behind a screen. This is Glenn Smith with a hesitation dribble, and a foul is called against Conrad Kiska. That's his third personal. It was a little bit of a nickel dimer. Smith also went with a little bit of a chicken wing, which wasn't called. It also bounced off Smith's foot and out of bounds. Any of those could have been called, but what it was is a nickel dimer against Conrad Kiska, his third personal.
All goes back to another turnover there for the Explorers. Not yet turning into points, but perhaps more troubling for the Explorers, a third personal foul for the senior Kiska, one of the 2 offensive engines for LaSalle this year.
Great defensive play by Kiska, as a lazy one-handed pass was intended for Manigo on the slip to the hole off the high ball screen. Bishop McDevitt leads for the first time tonight, 28-27. Chrysler thought about a 3 from the top of the key, now dribbles to the right wing. Looked for the feed for Kiska, now he does. Kiska with a back screen inside. Chrysler tried to adjust in midair and shoot the shot and couldn't get it to go. Got to go up stronger there.
Yeah, you got to go up on the right side, your strong ball hand side, flush it or put it up against the backboard. Don't understand the decision there by Chrysler. The first time all night, he's looked at all tentative. That time looking to go away from the contact, but he's got a distinct height advantage over Jamil Manigo.
Timeout called by Will Chavis with 3:41 to play in the third quarter. The pace has slowed to a crawl here at the Palestra. Bishop McDevitt 28, LaSalle 27. Both teams have had opportunities. You go back 2 possessions for McDevitt. That pass from Amir Harris, the one-handed hand grenade, unacceptable if you're Will Chavis. Part of the reason I'm sure he called a timeout. And then on the other side, Chrysler gets to the basket. He's right up there at the rim, and then it tries to adjust in midair and go with the up and under.
Yeah, I mean, for both sidelines certainly have a lot to talk about. One area, and something I'm concerned about here, only because I think he's right, is head coach Will Chavez for McDevitt has already said twice to the officials here about Conrad Kiska extending that forearm out. I have to assume that's who he's talking about, Conrad Kiska. When Kiska's breaking that pressure, he's extending that left arm while dribbling with the right. And I think Chavez is certainly trying to make an emphasis here with the officials to perhaps get that call. And, you know, that takes away some of the versatility that Kiska has. The beauty of having Conrad Kiska on the floor for LaSalle is he's such a good ball handler at his size. And that matchup that McDevitt's thrown at him in the man against Amir Harris, he's got the size. I think he's every bit as good a ball handler to be able to take it up the court. But I'm just interested to see here now, after having that opportunity to get an earful from Chavez, if the officials don't take note.
Bob Long Joe winning. Mara Long here on the broadcast. Live on Bob Long Sports. This is an audio-only broadcast as per PCL regulations, but so excited to be here and broadcasting this game for all the folks out there that can't be here tonight. LaSalle comes out man-to-man. Manny Frere nearly fouled Robert Smith. Now on the baseline, here's a drive by Shamir Mosley. Dishes back for Harris, a corner 3. It won't go. Rebound inside, and a great steal there by Jake Timby. Tries to get rid of it. Out of bounds, last touched by Jamil Manigo. Manigo got the offensive rebound. He tried to go right back up with it, but he brought it down to the little guy, Joe, and Jake Timby pulled it away, and it goes out of bounds to LaSalle.
Great hustle by Timby. Again, second chance opportunities. LaSalle's got to limit the offensive boards for the Lancers.
Full court pressure. Manigo guarding Allan Powell. A little bit of a mismatch there as he comes across the timeline. Frere has it on the left wing. Pulls it back for Chrysler. Top of the key. Steps in. Foot on the line. It's good. A long 2 for Zach Chrysler. And LaSalle has another lead. 29-28. Lancers quickly back into the offensive set. Mosley Now Harris looks for a high ball screen, instead directs Gardner to the top of the key. Thought about the three. Smith has it on the left wing. Smith gets to the lane, steps back, puts up a wild shot, no good. Manigo saves it inbounds, but Chrysler there. Here comes Titus Beard, 3-on-2 in transition. Timby tees it up from his favorite spot, nothing but net. 4-point lead for the Explorers, a 5-0 spurt for the Explorers behind Jake Timby, who continues the magic here at the Palestra.
Making a clean 4 of 4 from 3 for Jake Timby, having a huge night for LaSalle, pacing him with 12. LaSalle really doing a nice job here last 2 possessions in terms of making the extra pass, getting the bucket.
Mosley has the basketball. Now it's Robert Smith on the left wing. A cutting Amir Harris puts up a tough shot. Back iron, no. Brought down strong by Titus Beard for LaSalle.
Not surprisingly, Titus Beard, the senior, the one leading the charge underneath the basket. Another nice seal out that time on Cameron Gardner, creating some space and pulling down the board.
Timby has it on the left wing. This time they guard him on the catch. Frere brings it back, and he'll pull it back with 1:40 to go. Perhaps LaSalle going into the stall again with less than 100 seconds to go in this third quarter. Lancers calling a double team up. Beard thought about it from the left wing. He'll pull it back. Chrysler tees it up for 3. It's good. And LaSalle is on fire from behind the arc. Zach Chrysler, his favorite spot, top of the key.
Getting it all shapes and forms of Zach Chrysler. The pull-up jumper, the 3. Give him 10 now in double digits for the senior.
Smith has it, left wing, 1:07 to play. LaSalle leading 35-28. This is an 8-0 run as Smith gets in the lane. They're going to wave off the shot as Manny Frere with a hand check. Called for the personal foul. Comes at 1:03.
At some point, the officials are going to have to, though, address with Robert Smith. I mean, just driving that shoulder into the defender, lowering the shoulder that time into Manny Frere as he's making the turn towards the free throw line. That's a lot of contact to let go and then pull it back on Manny at the back end.
And that is the 3rd team foul against LaSalle, not the same foul trouble that they were in the first half. Now trouble getting it in, and a hold is going to be called against the Explorers. That goes against Khalil Diarra. He grabs Shamir Mosley. So maybe I misspoke. 1:03 to go, 4 fouls for the Explorer team, and they are starting to get up there. Mosley gets it on the baseline. They're going to pull it back up near the logo. Glenn Smith has it for the Bishop McDevitt Lancers, dressed in the black. Going from left to right on your radio dial. Mosley, top of the key, guarded by Khalil Diarra. Willoughby with a drive, pulls up a tough 2, won't go. Rebound brought down by Mosley. He's taken down on the play, and it stays with Bishop McDevitt. Joe, I'll let you go in a second. One of 2 things. You can't call that foul, okay? You either call a trip against LaSalle, and that's what caused Mosley to fall, or Willoughby to fall, or you call it out of bounds on McDevitt. What you can't call is split the difference, and now a giveaway by the Explorers as they got it back, and a big-time finish. Jamil Manigo, fouled by Khalil Diarra. Another foul to Diarra. He'll go to the bench. LaSalle got a quick rebound off that inbound play. But then Diarra, the clock just a little bit too quick in his head. Too quickly tried to outlet that ball. It was immediately stolen by Manigo. Dives right to the tin and is fouled.
And to draw a picture for you, Manigo couldn't have been more than 5 feet away from Diarra at the point. Diarra does a great job on the positive side of sealing out 2 defenders, coming down with the board, but turning that left shoulder, no look off at all. Manigo basically waiting for it, daring to make that pass, grabs it, scores, converts.
And how big of a switch is that? He turned it over at 35 seconds left. LaSalle had a 7-point lead. They could have taken the last shot going into the 4th quarter. There was no rush to advance the basketball. Instead, and 1, Manigo hits the free throw. It's just a 4-point lead for LaSalle. Bishop McDevitt not going anywhere here at the Palestra. 7 seconds left. Powell thought about a long 3. Beard on the drive, into traffic, back for Chrysler, puts up a tough one, and a foul is called, but now they wave it off. They said that it was going to go as a jump ball, You saw the referee there, Joe. He was going to motion for a jump ball, but he said that the clock expired first. If I may, I think there was a foul before the clock expired.
Neither way does it help the Explorers. McDevitt would have gotten the possession arrow for that one with about, 1.5 seconds left? Not even. And there was, like you said, I think there was contact before with him going to the bucket. So either way you look at it, it hurts LaSalle. Now McDevitt gets possession to start the fourth quarter. It would have been LaSalle's ball. They don't get a chip to the free throw line, and they hold a 4-point edge. But it just seems like we're a little bit off kilter. Both teams just seem a little bit off, and the officiating as well. Everybody just trying to, I think the pace of this game has got everybody reeling a little bit.
I would agree with that, 100%. And if you look at it from Bishop McDevitt's side, their fan base got to be loving it right now. They've ended the second quarter and the third quarter with unequivocal momentum. Clearly at the end of the second quarter going into half, after the cascade of boos as LaSalle held the ball, they got a steal and they ended up getting the last bucket, cutting it to 2. Now here, if you're LaSalle, you had a 7-point lead, you had the ball, you give it away, and one for Jamil Manigo, and then you had what you thought was contact at the end.
And Bob, we saw in the third quarter, defensively, a better emphasis on getting a body on McDevitt, limiting those second chance looks. But when McDevitt has gotten the chance, has come down with those offensive rebounds, they've been so good at converting for the fourth quarter. I think that's the message from head coach Mike McKee. We took their punch. Now we got to answer. Let's stretch this thing out and end all doubts for the Explorers. That would be the message I'd be giving right now in my huddle.
Conrad Kiska on a big block as Shamir Mosley dove to the 10. Kiska so long at 6'7", going to Princeton next year, able to eclipse what was a half-step advantage for Mosley. Now inbounding underneath their own basket. Here's the inbound play, and Gardner has it. They'll set up the offense, spinning into the lane. Didn't quite get the shot off the way he wanted. Off the curl over the left shoulder. Kiska comes down with the rebound.
Every time Cameron Gardner or Jamil Manigo get the rock with Conrad Kiska on them, they are looking to attack. They know the foul situation. They know the LaSalle senior has 3, trying to draw the fourth.
Frere thought about a 3, top of the key. Bishop McDevitt in the man-to-man right now. And they do switch to a little bit more of a matchup zone here as they come out to guard Timby on the left wing. Timby with patience, back for Frere. Chrysler in the corner for 3. In and out that time. Brought down by number 3. Seneca Willoughby. Willoughby's going to get it back. Left wing 3. High bounce off the rim, no good. Timby brings it down. Explorers up the floor quickly, and now they'll settle up at the logo. Jake Timby has it.
Kiska with a really nice steal that time on Cameron Gardner, giving Timby the opportunity to go up and get the uncontested board. LaSalle now slowing it down a bit, Bob. Not surprised. I actually like this move. Regain some composure, take some time off.
We have not had a score yet here in the fourth quarter. 2 possessions for McDevitt, 1 for LaSalle. Timby, favorite spot, 3. In and out, won't go. Brought down by Willoughby.
Head coach Mike McKee, you like that shot, you like that look for your junior. Hoping he can stay hot here and catapult you into the PCL finals.
Amir Harris guarded by Zach Chrysler. Comes back to Smith. Now they work it to the top of the key. Willoughby on the drive, runs through Jake Timby. And a blocking foul is called.
Yeah, you just can't reward that. You can't reward that take. Seneca Willoughby out of control, going to the basket.
Not only that, Joe, if it comes to defensive position, there is no restricted area at the high school level. Forget it. It's drawn on the court anyways, and Jake Timby was outside of it. Willoughby to the line. Huge free throws. And hits the first. Down to a 1-possession game for the Lancers. Manny Frere checks out. Titus Beard will check in. So the 5 for the Explorers, Conrad Kiska, Zach Chrysler. And at guard, Allan Powell, Titus Beard, Jake Timby. Willoughby's second is good. 35-33. LaSalle leads, 5:47, fourth quarter. Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals, live from the Palestra and presented by Under Armour, live here on Bob Long Sports, the audio broadcast, your way to listen to the game live and in action. Inside they go. Conrad Kiska is fouled, this time by Glenn Smith. He established good position. The lob came over the top. Probably not one that Smith needed to commit, as he had Willoughby coming as help over the top. Glenn Smith didn't realize it, and that is now the second team foul on McDevitt here in the second half.
I think that's the biggest difference between the first game at LaSalle, this game here tonight. The way McDevitt is helping defensively, weak side underneath the basket.
An inbound pass came just a touch late from Jake Timby to Beard on the weak side, knocked out of bounds by Smith. Will do it again. They'll inbound underneath their offensive attacking basket. On the lob for Kiska. At the top of the key. Inside for Titus Beard. He finished the layup, but before there was a hand check called against Jamil Manigo. Not a bad foul if you're Bishop McDevitt. Comes at 5:26.
And wipes off a basket. Going back to my earlier point, Bob, about LaSalle in the first matchup, Conrad Kiska with some highlight dunks able to get to the basket. Tonight, that lane's just not there.
Here's a lob. Kiska goes up and gets it, and he's fouled again by Bishop McDevitt as two Lancers were in there. This time Robert Smith called for the foul. So all of a sudden that's 4 on the Lancers of McDevitt, 3 alone on this possession. Timby to inbound once again. They've struggled with the inbound. This time Chrysler comes up with it. On the left wing, Powell looks inside for Kiska in the high post. Cutting is Chrysler. It can't get over the front rim. He's fouled as he goes into his shooting motion, and he'll shoot 2 at the line with 5:16. It was a good adjustment in midair after the contact, Joe. Went to the left hand. Just a tough finish for the senior.
And a great back cut that time by Zach Chrysler. Court awareness, drawing Cameron Gardner up top, cutting behind. And for Kiska, you see that synchronization. The two of them have been playing together for 4 years. He knew exactly where Chrysler was going, fed it to him in only a spot that he could get it with his arms outstretched, adjust in the basket after the contact. Gave himself a good look at Bob, and you know, you'd love to have the bucket, but you get the front end of 2.
36-33. Second coming for Chrysler, and he hits the foul shot. 2 for 2 from the line. Chrysler's had a nice day shooting the ball from the field, Joe.
And for LaSalle now, 8 of 9 from the free throw stripes. Both teams doing a strong job converting free throws. 9 of 11 for McDevitt, and 8 of 9 for LaSalle. Both coaches have to be pleased with what they're seeing from the fundamental standpoint in this one.
Here's a drive by Harris. Great kick. Willoughby for 3. It won't go after about 4 tips on the rim. Chrysler brings it down and avoids a travel by getting rid of it. Kiska now across the timeline. Great look to the corner. Beard spins and brings it back beyond the arc. Manny Frere is the safety valve, and LaSalle patient, up 4, 4:35 to play.
Manny Frere doing a really nice job in extended minutes here tonight. Defensively, you know what you're going to get from him. Offensively, not yet cracking the scorebook, but circulating the ball, creating opportunities, most importantly, not turning the rock over, which has been a problem for the Explorers tonight.
Don't think you can completely shut the door and slow things down. Chrysler with the handoff in a tough spot for Beard, dribbles out of it. And Conrad Kiska up at the logo, 4:07 to play, and the boos are starting to come.
McDevitt McDevitt wastes no time on that right wing. When that ball gets to the side, they are immediately looking to trap. We've seen it twice on Timby, that time on Beard. McDevitt exploding into that trap defense along the baselines.
Great look for Allan Powell. Got it in the lane, couldn't put it up, so dribbles it back, and LaSalle is patient again. And here they come, the McDevitt faithful, none too pleased. Powell thought about the 3 as he got the feed from Frere, and once again the Explorers pull it back. Patience here now, double teams have to come. Chrysler dives to the 10, he's blocked, but body contact as Manigo came across and tried to get the spike. Chrysler back to the line for 2.
And it was Amir Harris who flew over into that left corner, trying to get the double team on Manny Frere. LaSalle quickly getting it to Titus Beard, back to the right baseline into the hands of Chrysler, who attacks. And, you know, you hear the booing. You know LaSalle's slowing it down a little bit. but that can be effective in terms of getting the Lancers out of position, getting impatient, trying to trap that ball in the corner, created that opportunity for Chrysler to get to the bucket. He gets to the free throw line, Bob, and now LaSalle has an opportunity to stretch that lead.
Yeah, he hit the first. Here comes the second, and that one's good as well. Chrysler good from the field. Now we can tee him up and say that he's very good from the line here tonight, and critical ones as well. 6-point lead for LaSalle, 3:21 to go. A date on Monday against the winner of Newman Goretti and Roman Catholic on the line. Manigo on the left wing, drives inside, spins to the baseline, high off the glass, it won't go. Rebound to Gardner, and he finishes that one. Another offensive rebound by McDevitt, and that has been their strength here tonight. Back to 4.
Converting on second chance looks. Offensive rebounds devastating. Gardner that time. LaSalle had the positioning. Titus Beard had a body on. Gardner, though, able to create some space, get off the floor, pull down the board, and score.
Beard guarded tightly and gets all the way to the rim. Shoulders a ton of contact. Nothing called. Loose ball. Here's Smith up the floor. Manigo. Too strong off the glass. Beard taken down. Manigo, a wild shot. That follow is good. And he's hit by Chrysler. A wild sequence. A lot of contact. And then at the end, Chrysler called for the grab as Manigo, a spectacular play with one hand, puts it up off the glass and through the cylinder. A chance for the Lancers of Bishop McDevitt to cut it to 1.
The old-fashioned three-point play on the way here for Manigo. But, man, I mean, he's playing a man's game out there, Bob. Out of control with that right-hand spinner, no good. Able to go down, not even bring his second foot down. Hop up, tip it back in, get fouled, and finish.
Manigo to complete the three-point play, and he does. 2:27 to play. Lancers with 3 more second-chance points. Story of the night thus far. Now Explorers having trouble getting it in. Kiska in the corner. Now Timby up the floor. Explorers do have numbers. He's going to pull it back. 6 fouls for the Lancers, 7 for LaSalle. Both teams will be in the bonus at any subsequent foul.
Allan Powell yet to score here in the second half. Just 4 points on the game. Would love to see your senior get active.
What a pass inside. Conrad Kiska finishes off a beautiful feed from Titus Beard. And important there, Joe, Conrad Kiska strong on the catch and the swim to get past the second defender. 1:53 to play. Tough drive to the hole. Foul is called. Think it'll go against Titus Beard. It'll be Shamir Mosley going to the line. It's actually going to be Timby, the help defender, called. Mosley just put his head down, started at the left wing, got all the way to the weak side block.
This is such a big-time high school basketball game. A 3-point difference, 41-38. We're under 2 minutes left to play. These two teams going at it, bucket for bucket. Not a high-scoring affair, but, man, this fourth quarter is just electric. A lot of time left. And some substitutions now, as that's a good sign for the Explorers. You see Jamil Manigo going to the bench.
41-39. Second one coming for Shamir Mosley. Short. Rebound down to Conrad Kiska. Timby's all alone. Kiska finds them, and he lays it in uncontested. The eyes upfield by the senior, Conrad Kiska. And the Explorers lead by 4. Now can McDevitt be poised enough to be patient? 1:30 to go, but you can't rush it. Still plenty of time for a quick 2.
So dangerous. The man with the ball in his hands right now, Robert Smith.
Robert Smith goes up and under and can't hit it. Titus Beard did a great job defending. Now full court pressure for McDevitt. Powell with a crossover and across the timeline. Now the Explorers can be patient. A skip pass for Chrysler on the right wing. Guarded by Robert Smith.
I'll tell you, that middle of the paint is wide open for a cutter.
LaSalle has a timeout if they want to use it, but a foul is called first as Glenn Smith went for the steal on Allan Powell, and now you send your best foul shooter to the line for the bonus. Front end here has a chance to earn a second free throw, and how big that would be, Joe.
And what Allan Powell, perhaps what hasn't been there offensively has been there in 2 areas. First off, doing a really nice job himself taking care of the ball, absent that one heave along the left sideline that went out of bounds all night tonight. He's been the sole explorer that's able to really withstand this full court pressure without really any deterrence at all. But in the other area, both being checked at bay by the other, it's another great Philadelphia guard matchup that we're seeing tonight. Two gritty guys.
An absolutely incredible game here so far, Joe. Now the question for LaSalle is, can they move without turning over the ball the rest of the way? And most importantly, can they hit foul shots? A big part of the reason they're here, give pressure to the way they defended Archbishop Carroll on Friday night. But Archbishop Carroll also missed a lot of free throws. Can LaSalle, with this front-end opportunity, extend the lead again? Joe, we say it on this broadcast all the time. Games are won and lost at the front end, and Allan Powell has an opportunity to tee a few more onto this lead.
And Bob, so far tonight, the Explorers, 11 of 12 from the free throw line. Allan Powell, their most reliable free throw shooter, heading to the charity stripe. And there's such a big difference between a 6-point game and a 4-point game. If Allan Powell able to convert, get these both, it really changes the offensive outlook.
Nothing
for
but
McDevitt.
net on the first, Joe.
That's a statement, Bob. That's a statement shot right there. Tickles the twine, doesn't touch a bit of iron.
And he gets it quick, eyes on the rim, and fires. And he hits the second one as well. 45-39, 102 to play. Final minute of action here from Game 1 of the PCL semifinals. We'll be back for Game 2 as well. An audio-only broadcast here on Bob Long Sports. Long way to go here, though. Shamir Mosley, it's off his knee and out of bounds. It'll go LaSalle's way. The strip came from Titus Beard on the penetration from Mosley. And Joe, it was a matter of time. Mosley puts his head down more than once here tonight to try to get to the basket and curled that basketball. Beard astutely took notes and found out a way to steal it at the game's most important hour. Now LaSalle ball with 41 seconds left. Allan Powell is fouled by Glenn Smith. 9th team foul against Bishop McDevitt. McDevitt, and Powell will shoot 1-1 from the line.
Surprised McDevitt allowed that much time to go off the clock before they got the foul. Powell able to break the press, get to the opposite free throw line, his own free throw line, before he twisted back out towards the half and the foul.
Allan Powell with the front end of a 1-1. 40 seconds left. Chance to make it the all-important 3-possession lead, and he drills it.
$14 of 15 are the Explorers here tonight. Talk about the fundamentals, doing things right.
Hits them both. It's a 47-39 lead for LaSalle. 36 seconds away from going to the finals.
McDevitt's got to move.
Robert Smith, good drive and finish. Goes high off the window with the left hand. Clock continues to run here in high school. LaSalle adroitly taking their time, getting the ball, and now they get it in. Up the floor is Powell. Powell's going to pull it back. McDevitt's going to have to foul, and they do. And the pull comes from the back as Powell was going into his shooting motion. They're going to call off the shot attempt, Joe. And yeah, that's actually just the 9th foul, so it is still 1-1. So that's an important point of demarcation from the referee there.
And based on the timing of the whistle, Bob, they got the call right. Allan Powell, with how consistent he's been here tonight from the free throw line, I don't think he cares whether he's getting 2 or he's going to make 2.
And he hits the first, earns his second. 48-39.
7 of 7, perfect from the free throw line, Allan Powell.
Allan Powell hits them both.
Earning his way to double digits. He's got 10.
Here's Robert Smith with 8 seconds left. Harris all the way to the 10. Can't hit it.
That's all she wrote.
The heave at the horn won't go, and LaSalle goes back to the Philadelphia Catholic League final. They're back to the final. It'll be Monday night at 8:15, and this dramatic run continues for this Explorer team, where they'll face the winner of either Newman Goretti or Roman Catholic. But Joe Winning, what a way to come down here to the Palestra. And if you're Mike McKee in your very first year with a ton of seniors on the team, what a way to put your stamp on LaSalle basketball. And there's nothing but full speed ahead for this team.
What a magical season, a magical ride. We get to continue it forward now. An opportunity to come down here and broadcast your alma mater in the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinal. Are you kidding me? This is awesome. What a great win for LaSalle. They took every punch that McDevitt had. The Lancers come out in the second half. They grab their first lead of the game. What does LaSalle do? Recollect themselves, take back the lead to end the third quarter, never to relinquish it again. A strong showing from the Explorers. Allan Powell, a perfect 8 of 8 from the free throw line to get LaSalle over the finish line to the finals, where they will await the winner of the game 2 here tonight, Bob. Magic so far.
This was fun. This was a great game. Bishop McDevitt had an absolutely incredible season. We talked about the front of their shirt saying doubted. No more. This was punch for punch until the final minute of the game with foul shots for LaSalle. A few possessions here, a few possessions there, and McDevitt had a real good chance to win this game. And I'll tell you what, given the classification they're in from a small school size, good luck to anybody that's going to take on this team in the PIAA state playoffs. The Catholic League is strong at the top, and it is deep. And McDevitt is both. They were the number 3 seed. I mean, they came in amongst Bonner Prendergast, who had all the expectations in the world. Isaiah Wong going to Miami next year. Newman Goretti, who's Newman Goretti. And they finished ahead of both of those teams, beating both of them in succession in the last few weeks of the season. You have to give Will Chavis so much credit for what he's done in just 2 short years with this program. And they have guards that can play, big guys that may not have the size of 6'7", 6'9", but boy, can they bang away inside. The offensive glass was their advantage here tonight, and it just was a few buckets that wouldn't fall. That's the difference in the Philadelphia Catholic League. So we have to take our hats off to Bishop McDevitt and the program that they're building.
No question about it, Bob. I think, you know, the scary thought process is you look at this roster for Bishop McDevitt, and there are good players that they're losing, but there's only 2 of them. Cameron Gardner, probably the 3rd or 4th option offensively, and Seneca Willoughby. Those are the 2 contributors for Bishop McDevitt that you're losing, but you're getting back players like Jamil Manigo, Robert Smith, a year more experience in the Philadelphia Catholic League, and I'm excited for what Bishop McDevitt has building, because to see this rivalry continue to flourish between LaSalle and McDevitt, I mean, look at the difference between the first time these 2 teams matched up and here tonight. We're talking about a 23-point ball game the first time around, an 8-point ball game in round 2, but this was tooth and nail, a dog fight all the way through. What a treat to be able to get down here and see the front end of this doubleheader at the Palestra.
And you know the great thing for all the folks listening online? They don't got to go anywhere. Stay right here, folks. We're going to broadcast Newman Goretti versus they'll come up next. Number 1 Roman Catholic, number 4 Newman Goretti. And boy, that's going to be fun. Your broadcast team here for the first one: Bob Long, Joe Winning, and Mara Long on the scorekeeping. Thanks so much for being with us. For all of our programming updates, you can find us on @BobLongSports on Twitter, BobLongSports.com. This and all our other broadcasts over the course of the year are archived there. And it has been a special season calling Philadelphia Catholic League high school basketball. The next 32 minutes are going to be special as well. Joe, thanks for being here, man.
Great time. Great time as always, Bob. Great win
for Joe Winning, for Mara Long, I am Bob Long signing off, but just for now. Give us about 20 minutes. We'll be back on this same link for Game 2, Newman Goretti against Roman. Game number 2. Good evening, everybody. Welcome back inside the Palestra. For those of you that joined us for Game 1, it's on the left-hand side of your screen. LaSalle 49-41 winner over Bishop McDevitt, and they are off to the Philadelphia Catholic League Final on Monday evening at 8:15 p.m. Game 2 in just a few minutes. Newman Goretti versus Roman Catholic, number 4, the Saints, versus number 1, the Cahillites, perhaps the two most storied programs in Philadelphia Catholic League history. This will be an unbelievable matchup between a Newman Goretti team that's hitting their stride at exactly the right time and a Roman Catholic team that has been hitting their stride all year long. Lynn Greer, Jalen Duran, Seth Lundy, just 3 of the guys that make up this Roman Catholic team, and they've been so good all year long. Now we're going to send it down to the public address announcer as they have a few announcements, a prayer, and then the national anthem.
Give you greater glory and honor. We ask all these things through Christ our Lord. Amen. In the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, as you please remain standing as Mark Kaminsky, Lamont G., Jeanette Presley of Roman Catholic High School, honors America with the plan, the singing of our national anthem.
And there are your starting lineups. Roman Catholic against Newman Goretti. This should be nothing short of a fantastic basketball game. And the prize is clear. Win this one and face LaSalle in the Catholic League Final Monday night, 8:15 p.m. Welcome back inside our broadcast booth for Game 2 of the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals. Live on an audio broadcast on Bob Long Sports. Bob Long, your play-by-play man this evening. Mara Long doing a great job on scorekeeping. She did it in game 1. She will do it in game 2. As you see on the left-hand side of your screen, a final in game 1, LaSalle 49, excuse me, and Bishop McDevitt 41. On the right-hand side of your screen, the score will be updated as we go along. Still so much basketball ahead of us. Newman Goretti comes out of the huddle dressed in their road black uniforms, white trim, and the apricot numerals and lettering. Roman Catholic in the home white uniforms, purple trim, yellow numerals and lettering. And we're underway here from the Palestra. Roman Catholic wins the tip, and they have the basketball moving from right to left on your radio dial. Lynn Greer III has it at the top of the key. Duran cut to the hole, but they didn't leave it off for him. Now a step back for Lundy from the baseline, no good. Not a high percentage look. Well defended there by Jordan Hall. Now in transition, a three. No good from Bird. And brought down by Roman Catholic. They'll run it back the other way. Here's a three from Hakeem Hart. The baseline three brings rain and goes down. $7:16 to play. Newman Goretti runs the weave. Jakor Smith has it now. Hall with it on the left wing. A handoff for Hakeem Bird. This is Chris Ings with the basketball now up near the logo. Roman Catholic in the zone defense. 1 minute into this one. Cahillites lead 3-0. Ings. Inside they go. Smith against the larger Duran goes over the top and can't hit it off the glass. Rebound brought down by Duran. In transition, here's Hart. Well defended by Newman Goretti. Now Hart will dart to the hole, and he's fouled. That goes against Hakeem Bird. Hart was in the act of shooting, and he'll shoot 2 at the line. Hakeem Hart, a senior going to St. Joseph's University next year. And hits the first by hitting the front rim off the glass and back through the cylinder. Roman Catholic has had a lot of success in the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. Won last year on a last second and a half shot, we'll call it, by Hakeem Hart as he received a feed from Lynn Greer after taking about 90 seconds off the clock, concluding that final possession with a bucket, and then Bonner had nothing but a heave. At the end, Roman won that and now look to do the same this year. Hakeem Bird going to make that tough as he glides to the rim and floats it home from about 5 feet away. Able to penetrate in the middle of that Roman Catholic zone. That's going to be key tonight for Newman Goretti. Now Greer off the high ball screen. Duran on the roll to the hole, and he travels with it. He glided to the hole through 2 defenders, and that extra jump led to the travel call. It'll go back the other way to Newman Goretti. Bird has it now, top of the key, guarded by Lynn Greer. Ings rolls it back. Inside they go, they pull it back. Now a drive inside, a fastball goes through the hands from Hakeem Bird, intended for Jakor Smith, and into the Roman Catholic student section, a turnover by the Saints of Newman Goretti. Lynn Greer now walks it up the floor, dressed in white, moving from right to left. He's guarded by Chris Ings. Ings, a senior guard. Now they get the switch. Here's Hall. Hall is guarding Greer. A wild shot won't go. Rebound to Duran, and his follow is way too strong. So another nice defensive possession by Newman Goretti. Ings has it on the baseline. Thought about the three, gets Lundy in the air. Tough shot, a right-handed floater, no good from the baseline. Jalen Duran brings it down. Roman Catholic up the floor quickly. Justice Williams, dipsy-do, can't finish on a wild layup shot. Now Seth Lundy a rebound and an emphatic two-handed flush. 6-2 Roman Catholic, 5:07 to play. Such good patience from Seth Lundy as he let not one but two Newman Goretti Saints fly by as they expected him to go right back up with it. Let him fly by and then dunked it home. Roman Catholic stays in the zone. Jakor Smith. Now Bird, a wing three, in and out. Brought down again by Duran. Snatched with one hand with a ton of power. Greer goes behind his back, gets all the way to the hole, too short on the floater, and the rebound is down to number 22, Jordan Hall, a junior forward for Newman Goretti. Ings steps into a three, no good. Rebound, controlled, and then given away, and fortunate, I think, for Roman Catholic. They're going to get the basketball as it was last touched by Chris Ings. Chris Ings was close on that three. Now Louis Wild, number one, into the game. He got hurt at the tail end of a game that was played in Winmore, Pennsylvania against LaSalle. Great to see him back on the floor. Now a baseline drive. Hakeem Hart, floater, just won't go. Fought for on the rebound, and it bounces out to Chris Ings. Jakor Smith thought about popping up for three. Cameron Young with a delayed drive. High off the window, too strong. Greer back the other way. Hart all alone, and he throws it down with one hand. In transition, this Roman Catholic team is so dangerous. They lead 8-2 here in the first quarter. To the middle of the zone, back out for Hall. Hakeem Bird on the drive, gets inside, tough shot off the glass and no good, and Roman Catholic's making every drive contested. Pull up, Lynn Greer, no good. And Greer not quite in rhythm yet offensively. Now Bird and Hall. Hall on the drive right through traffic. Jakor Smith steps back for three on the baseline. No good off the front rim. And the rebound brought down by Duran. He's controlling things on the defensive glass thus far. 3:03 to go, flying here in the first quarter. Very few stoppages. On the right wing, they feed it now to the block. Hakeem Hart on the drive, spins to the baseline. Good defense as he tried to clear it back to the outside, but it's intercepted by Newman Goretti. Now on the run, Hall. On the baseline, has Wild. Now dishes for Ings, and Ings was halfway down on the floater. It just wouldn't go. That's been the story early here for Newman Goretti. They've gotten good shots. Hart, a wing three. That's no good. Lundy comes down and fires it home through the cylinder again. Second dunk on the offensive rebound by Seth Lundy. And Jalen Duran was even in there on the play. Lundy got such a good hand on it. Duran backed away. He said, "It's your play, big guy." 10-2 Roman Catholic, 2:28 to play. First quarter, live on Bob Long Sports, Game 2 of the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs, presented by Under Armour. 30-second timeout on the floor. Roman Catholic coached by Matt Griffin. By way of St. Joseph's Prep, he played his high school ball under Speedy Morris. All he's done after Chris McNesby resigned to spend more time with his family, all he's done is continued that moxie that this Roman Catholic program is so known for. And on the opposing bench, Carl Aragale. He's been doing it forever here in the Catholic League. One of the most decorated coaches that the league has ever seen. And a team here in Newman Goretti struggling to get their footing offensively. But still down just the 8 points. It's early here, still in the first quarter. Hall comes to the baseline. A skip pass gets all the way to Bird. Jakor Smith, a baseline three, and it rattles home. Good find on a touch pass from Hakeem Bird after the cross-court pass from Jordan Hall. 10-5, Roman Catholic leads. Hart, another baseline drive. Double comes on him, has to outlet it back to Lundy at the top of the key. Lundy now looks back to Matt Griffin and is fortunate to get that off to Lynn Greer. Louis Wild on the left wing. Inside, Seth Lundy to the basket, it's good. Just one power dribble after the turn and able to get all the way to the rim, uncontested at the rim. So quick, Seth Lundy with the ball in his hands. Hall on the baseline, guarded by Seth Lundy, 1:20 to play. Feed it back to the top of the key. Now the extra pass, another top of the key three, was halfway down for Jakor Smith. That lefty release is so smooth. It found its way halfway down. Now Duren inside, struggle with the handle, goes up, fouled, and he will shoot two at the line. 1:03 to play. Jalen Duren was hacked at, and he is so dangerous when he catches the ball inside. Newman Goretti allowed him to do too much work ahead of time. Duren's first is good. Roman Catholic leads 13-5 over Newman Goretti. One more at the line for Jalen Duren. Bob Long here on play-by-play. Mara Long is doing the scorekeeping this evening. Keeping you updated, so while this is a radio broadcast, we're able to give you the score. Under a minute to go, first quarter. Here's a three. That one's good. Chris Evans, number 10. You know he can light it up. He's been great from beyond the arc here this year. Comes in off the bench and does a great job. Now Duren has it taken away from him. Good defense by the undersized Jakor Smith. They had Smith heading to the hole. Instead, Evans will try it again and hit. This time from the left wing. Chris Evans, 6 quick ones, and it's back to just a 2-point game, and how quickly things can change here at the Palestra. Timeout called by Seth Lundy. 30 seconds called by Matt Griffin, head coach of Roman Catholic. And in a game like this, oh, how being hot from beyond the three-point arc can help you. Chris Evans, if he can find a rhythm, then Roman Catholic's going to change up the defense. They're going to have to. And that zone defense, somebody's going to have to guard Chris Evans on the catch if he continues to shoot the way he is. Still early here at the Palestra. Also of note, if Newman Goretti were to win this game, based on the result in game number 1, with LaSalle taking down Bishop McDevitt, would the Saints win, the Explorers of LaSalle would be the number 1 seed out of the Philadelphia Catholic League, out of District 12, going into that District 12 playing game in the PIAA state playoffs. Out of the timeout, number 11, Justice Williams and Louis Wild. Working together now. Louis Wild is across the timeline, 17 seconds left. Bird comes out to guard Wild. Lundy comes to it at the elbow. Hart gets it in the corner, 5 seconds. A floater by Hart, won't draw on the iron. Duren brings it down and throws down a ferocious two-handed flush with 1 second left. And that's the end of the first quarter. Jalen Duren ends it with a bang. Roman Catholic 15, Newman Goretti 11. Carl Aragale and Jordan Hall having discussions with the referees, impassioned discussions at that, thinking that Jordan Hall was pushed off of by Duren, which is what allowed Duren to corral that rebound on the air ball from Hakeem Hart. Once again, you are watching the Philadelphia Catholic League basketball playoffs on our audio-only broadcast on BLS. You can follow us on Twitter at Bob Long Sports, on Facebook at Bob Long Sports as well. And you can also find us at boblongsports.com on the internet. We have a YouTube page that is currently broadcasting this second game of the doubleheader in the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals. Roman Catholic quickly out on the floor. Newman Goretti late to break the huddle, and Carl Aragale still having that same discussion. And it's one that I could have seen being called, but Aragale, he's a smart man. He's been doing this for a long time. He's not arguing for that call. He's arguing for the next 24 minutes of basketball and understanding that Duren is going to be a challenge. And if the referees are going to take an extra look at him, all the better in terms of push-offs, etc., because he's such a challenge. Tough shot goes up from Chris Ings. He lost it on the way up. Matt Griffin's not going to like the call because Ings dove the body into Jalen Duren, who had pretty good defensive position, actually lost the ball before the contact and got bailed out by the call. So Duren called for the foul. That's the team's first, his first. Chris Ings, the lefty, hits the first at the line. Ings hits them both. 15-13 Roman Catholic. Newman Goretti picks up full court. Here's Hakeem Hart. Still don't get it across the timeline. Louis Wild, they're patient, and now they are across the timeline. Justice Williams, now they swing it to Hart. A wing three, no good from the left wing, and Lynn Greer is in there for the rebound. Louis Wild sets up shot. Skip pass to Williams on the baseline. A drive inside. An interception by Newman Goretti, and it's thrown right back to Greer. Some English on the finish as he gets to the hole and uses that spin to fire it off the glass and avoid the charge. Now Evans, a corner three. He's open. No good. Brought down by Jalen Duren. So a big swing there as Newman Goretti nearly had a steal. Now Wild. Lynn Greer. A baseline drive from Hart. Hart is hit by Jakor Smith. He'll shoot two at the line after a baseline drive. Couldn't get it over the front rim. Smith clocked him pretty good. And Hart will shoot two more. He's had a hot start here tonight. Hart, too long on the first. Second one coming for Hart. Roman Catholic leading 17-13 over Newman Goretti, and he missed them both. Not what you're used to seeing from Hakeem Hart. Now Newman Goretti can cut it to one. Hakeem Bird pulls it back. Louis Wild will not follow. Out by the logo. Hall comes to get it at the top of the key. A handoff for Jakor Smith on the left wing. Back for Hall. Wing three. It rattles around and goes down. Jordan Hall at 6'6". What a factor he can be if he can knock that one down tonight. Roman leads 17-16 in a good one here in the second semifinal. Now a quick entry pass to Hakeem Hart. He floats it over the front rim, and a great job to exploit the Newman Goretti zone. A little patchy early on. 19-16 Roman Catholic leads. Ings hands off for Bird, top of the key. Back for Ings, a wing three. Little short, brought down by Jalen Duren, uncontested on that rebound. Now Lynn Greer dishes off for Hart. A three from the corner goes off the side of the backboard. Here's Chris Ings the other way. He's contacted on the way down by Hakeem Hart, and Hart picks up the foul. Foul called on the floor. 5:51 to play, second quarter. Newman Goretti will inbound in front of the Roman Catholic bench. Hakeem Bird will start the offense again, 5:47 to play. Flashing out to the top of the key is Cameron Young. Young fires and hits. Jalen Duren didn't come out and guard him. He said, I'll take that. Nothing but net, and it's tied. Now a drive. Justice Williams, shoulders contact, no call. Brought down on the rebound by Cameron Young. Newman Goretti, a chance to take its first lead. Bird from the corner, good. Another three-pointer for Newman Goretti. They've hit four in succession, and it's 22-19. Now Duren dives to the hole. He's fouled, counted and one. Big time move by Jalen Duren. Cameron Young went down easy. There was no charge called, shouldn't have been. Jordan Hall was the helper. Came inside, slashed him across the wrist, and Duren so strong to still finish with contact off the glass. Duren hits the foul shot. We are tied again at 22, just the way you'd expect. Here in Game 2 from the Palestra, perhaps the league's most vaunted programs. Newman Goretti, Roman Catholic. Roman hangs in the zone. Hakeem Byrd runs the offense from the Penn logo at center court. Here's a drive inside, high off the window by Chris Ings. He fed it over the outstretched arms of 6'9" Jalen Duren with some hop on it as well. And now it's pulled away from Lynn Greer. Great defense by Chris Ings. Now Ings wasn't looking for it. Saves it in bounds. No, he did not. It looked like he still had his foot in bounds when he saved it. Referee on the baseline disagreed, and it'll go back the other way. Just miscommunication from Hall and Ings. And they talk about it on the way back down the floor. No harm, no foul. 4:35 to play. Lynn Greer yet to get into a rhythm. Hasn't been able to hit close to the basket and has given away a few turnovers. Now inside, another turnover. Roman Catholic gets it right back and then gives it right back. Ball was batted down 3 times. Possession changed hands twice. Newman Goretti comes up with it. Newman Goretti leads 24-22. 4:05 to play. Ings drives, dishes back, Young for 3, no good. Well long, didn't draw any iron. Lundy in transition, doesn't have numbers, goes high off the window, no good. Brought down by Duren, but then given right back. Couldn't control it as he tried to go back up with it. Now Hall gets all the way inside, a floater, and he gets the shooter's roll. Roman Catholic was late and lazy getting back. Jordan Hall said, "Thank you, I'll take it." Got to 10 feet from the basket, went up with the right hand and scored it. Now, Lynn Greer puts up a shot. Looks like a clear push off Carl Aragale into the face of the official. Wasn't called. Spectacular finish nonetheless by Lynn Greer. Greer so good when going to his left. Now Ings fires for 3. No good off the front rim. Jalen Duren was there off the high ball screen to defend. Now Duren inside, good high catch on that very high toss, and he scoots across the lane, finishes it over Cameron Young. Too big, too strong, too skilled. And it's 26 apiece, 2:48 to play. Hakeem Byrd, hands off for Chris Ings. Now Hall thought about a 3 from the left wing. Instead, Evans from the right wing. Front rim, no good, brought down once again by Duren, who's having an unbelievable night on the glass. A foul is called off the ball as Greer walked it across the timeline as Hakeem Hart was trying to set up position inside. And that was called against number 3, Hakeem Byrd. The lob is inbounded. And now Hakeem Hart drives inside. Shoulders a ton of contact, no good. Tipped up his own miss, no good. And the follow will not go for Roman Catholic. Kyle Maska got his first time, couldn't put that in. Now a drive, throws into the legs of Lynn Greer and out of bounds. Greer's going to tell you he probably should have come up with that pass, but pass came with a lot of heat. It went off his leg and out of bounds. Inbounded quickly for Chris Ings, 2:03 to play, second quarter. Roman Catholic 26, Newman Goretti 26. Ja'Cour Smith has it on the left wing. Hands off at the top of the key for Hakeem Byrd. Byrd goes left, gets all the way to the rim, off the glass, and it won't go. That was spectacular as he got that one off the glass, over the rim. It just would not fall. He got hit hard by Seth Lundy on his way to the basket, able to scoot in midair, adjust, and get underneath. Couldn't finish. Hakeem Bird hits the first foul shot. Newman Goretti has a lead again, 27-26. In terms of the potential matchups in the next game, the Catholic League Final on Monday nights. Newman Goretti lost to LaSalle 67-57. Roman Catholic defeated LaSalle 73-76. And if you're LaSalle, quite frankly, you don't want either of them. And probably these teams don't want LaSalle either. When you get to this time of the year, all you're going to face are good basketball teams, and we have a great matchup here tonight. Now Lynn Greer off the drive. Throws it up, no good. And now the other way comes Ings, up the floor. Young puts it up, and he traveled. Traveled with the basketball. Young got a half step ahead of himself, heard the footsteps as Maska and Duran were coming down the floor. For Newman Goretti, it was a great transition opportunity. Now the freshman Justice Williams runs the show as Lynn Greer takes a seat for the time being. Williams, tough shot. The floater will go on a good shooter's roll. Got to about 7 feet away, floated it up with the right hand, and Roman Catholic ties the game once again. Jakor Smith for three on the ring. It's good. From the left wing, Jakor Smith with that sweet lefty stroke puts Newman Goretti up 31-28, the 4 seed with a lead at the Palestra with under 1 minute to go. Now Hakeem Hart. Hart gets to the foul line. He's triple teamed there. Finds the open man. A corner three. Well long, but Seth Lundy is there. That was Gabe Perez. Doesn't see a ton of time. Now 35 seconds left. Great defense by Jordan Hall on Seth Lundy. He has to pull it back. Hakeem Hart now at the logo. Guarded by Cameron Young. Now a switch as Hart gets into the lane. Puts up a tough one. No good. It's a war for the rebound, and Basim Cooper comes up with it. 15 seconds left. Young across the timeline. Chris Ings will run the show. Leads by 3. They want more. Ings spins up and can't finish. The follow won't go either. And that's the end of the first half. Newman got great looks at the horn. And Ings did everything but finish. What a game we have so far. Newman Goretti 31, Roman Catholic 28. So much more great basketball coming your way next here on Bob Long Sports. Hang with us. We'll have no sound over the next 5 or so minutes. Keep an eye on that clock in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That'll be ticking down as we head towards the third quarter. You are listening to the Philadelphia Catholic League Basketball Playoffs, live on Bob Long Sports. The Catholic League Playoffs are presented by Under Armour, and you can follow us here at Bob Long Sports. That's at Bob Long Sports on Twitter. We'll be right back. Bob Long on play-by-play, Mara Long on stats. Welcome back inside the Palestra. Under 2 minutes until we begin the second half. It's live here on Bob Long Sports, and the Philadelphia Catholic League Championships at the Palestra are brought to you by Under Armour. Bob Long play-by-play. Mara Long is doing a great job on stats here tonight, so while it is an audio-only broadcast per PCL regulations, we're still going to get you a lot of, as many bells and whistles as we can. You got a time up in the bottom, I should say, right corner. We'll get your quarter for you, and obviously the score of Game 2 in progress. Newman Goretti, Roman Catholic. Earlier this year, Newman Goretti traveled to Roman Catholic. They played each other once, as everybody does in the Catholic League. Every team plays every other team one time, and Roman Catholic escaped with a 79-76 win in overtime. This game looks in many ways headed that direction as Newman Goretti leads by 3 points here at the Palestra, the cathedral of college basketball, and withstood an early Roman Catholic run. The difference for Newman down the stretch of the first half was being able to hit the three-point shot and then being able to double inside and not let Roman Catholic beat them at the rim. They're making it difficult. They're double, tripling, teaming at times when they need to, and forcing Roman Catholic to shoot from mid-range or from beyond the arc. And it's not the strength of this Roman Catholic team. They're a team that has guys like Seth Lundy, Lynn Greer, Hakeem Hart, who love to get to the rim. Jalen Dern, who's a back-to-the-basket guy, is a true freshman in the Catholic League, unlike many we've seen in about as long as I can remember. So if Newman is able to force Roman Catholic to shoot it over the top, I think that's the way that Newman's going to be successful here in the second half. Lynn Greer III. This is either his last game or his penultimate game of the season. He was ruled ineligible to play in any PIAA state playoff game, given that he transferred from Roman Catholic after the conclusion of his sophomore year to Oak Hill. That was this summer. Spent about 2 months at Oak Hill, came back here to Roman Catholic, and by a new rule that was implemented last summer, he was deemed ineligible, and on a revote, the decision was upheld. So this is not a PIAA game as Lundy fires over the top and hits. Lundy will be able to play the rest of the way, and he hits that three to tie it up at 31. So this game is not a PIAA state game, nor is Monday night. So the last few times out on the court here this year for Lynn Greer, trying to make it worthwhile and trying to repeat as Philadelphia Catholic League champions. A hand check called as Chris Ings drove to the baseline. He was checked by Hakeem Hart, number 13 for Roman Catholic. In the corner, an open three for Hall. Back iron, no. Rebound by Cameron Young. Hall will try it again on the recoil, and another offensive rebound by Cameron Young. Now they'll reset with Chris Ings. Roman got a little bit out of sorts, and that's what can happen in a matchup zone. Tough to figure out who you need to box out against. Now a runner, too strong, off the glass. It's going to go off the leg of Jalen Dern on the rebound attempt and past the baseline. It'll stay with Newman Goretti. So that's now the third chance, now a fourth chance possession for the Saints of Newman Goretti. Top of the key, Ja'Cour Smith lost the basketball, able to get it back. Flips it to the baseline, a three. No good, might have been tipped by Jalen Dern off the hands of Jordan Hall. Roman a chance to take another lead. Hart goes behind the back, all the way to the basket, and he's fouled by Jordan Hall. Hall nearly got all ball, but certainly swiped at Hart. Hart made it look good, shoulder to contact, and will shoot 2. Hart's first is good and gives Roman Catholic a 32-31 lead with 6:42 to play in the third quarter. Second coming for Hart. He's shooting into the purple army of Roman Catholic students back behind that net. He makes both. It's 33-31 Cahillites. Saints back up the floor dressed in the road black uniforms. As the number 4 seed, they're designated as the road team, and they move from right to left. Young feeds for Ings off a screen. Back for Jakor Smith on the right wing. Back to the top of the key now. Number 3, Hakeem Bird. Feigns a high ball screen, gets all the way to the rim, and it's blocked by Jalen Duran. In transition, Lundy, a wing 3. That's well short. Rebound brought down by Duran, and Duran is hit hard. Cameron Young was a half step late. Rebound came to Duran on a hop, and then he was hip checked there by Young, who didn't see Duran coming either. Duran slow to get up, favoring his right hip as he was whacked pretty hard. But great hustle play by the Cahillites. Now Lundy on the baseline, a spin, a tough fadeaway, no good. Rebound by Duran, and he finishes it. Duran with a smack of the chest with the right fist. And the other way, Jalen Duran, a huge block against Cameron Young above the rim. In transition, a steal by Newman Goretti. Young, he'll try it again, and this time he finishes it. Cameron Young fell hard on the tailbone as the rest of his teammates were back in transition. They caused the steal. Young, cherry picking, not by design, got the ball back and hit a tough one. Now Lundy, a step back. Justice Williams, an uncontested offensive rebound and finish. Roman Catholic leads 37-33. A 3 in transition, good. Hakeem Bird right at the top of the key, and back and forth we go. 37-36 Roman Catholic. Catch your breath if you can here. What a basketball game. 5:03. That 3 comes from Lynn Greer from the baseline. Nothing but nets. And that's huge for him if they're going to make Newman Goretti guard him. Now a drive all the way to the 10. Chris Ings with a little point. Back at Jalen Duran as he fed it high off the glass over the outstretched arm of Duran and finished. Greer, he goes to the basket, too strong. In transition is Bird. Bird drops it back. Young off the glass. That one's blocked by Lundy. Unbelievable. And Hakeem Hart is fouled in transition as Chris Evans raked him across the wrists. And Hakeem Hart will shoot 2 at the line. Roman Catholic leading 40-38. These teams running with reckless abandon with absolutely no respect for the broadcaster. My goodness. Hakeem Hart hits the foul shot. 41-38. Of course, I say that in jest, but this is one of the higher paced games that the folks here at the Plestra will ever witness and that those listening along will ever hear. Full timeout on the floor after the second made free throw by Hakeem Hart. Roman Catholic 42, Newman Goretti 38, 4:31 to play. Third quarter. And the chant is "Why So Quiet" from the Roman Catholic Cahillite student section. You are watching Game 2 of the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinal on Bob Long Sports. Bob Long on play-by-play, Mara Long doing the scores on this audio-only broadcast as per PCL regulations. We appreciate the PCL allowing us to be here and to provide live online audio coverage of the Catholic League semifinals, one of the great nights of the year. One of the great nights in Philadelphia basketball. And the house is rocking here tonight. It's been nearly full all evening long. It got to the point where there really was nowhere to sit at the tail end of the LaSalle game as the Roman Catholic and Newman Goretti fans made their way into the arena. And now only slightly more elbow room. The Cathedral of College Basketball, constructed in the early 1900s, the home of the Big Five, the home of the Penn Quakers, and the home of the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals and finals. What a wonderful Wednesday night we have here every single year. Roman Catholic back into the zone defense. Hakeem Byrd on the wing. Back for Ings. Ings inside. They're working for Ja'Cour Smith, and Ings gets it right back into the lane. Shoulders contact and finishes off the glass with some English. He brought that one low to his toes and still fired it high off the glass. And that's how you're going to finish it here tonight. Now a mismatch inside. Duran elects to go to the baseline. Greer a drive. Flips back for Lundy. Lundy steps back on the right wing. Lundy steps it back to the logo. 3:33 to go. Or 43, I should say, as Hart launches a three, in and out. Rebound by Duran. And he finishes it as it touches the top of the rim and hangs there for a second and a half. And finally falls through the cylinder. 4-point lead for Roman Catholic. Third quarter, 3:25 to play. Newman Goretti with the basketball. Roman Catholic back into the man-to-man as Ings holds it at the logo. Byrd on the left wing, beyond the three-point line, takes a ball screen from Ja'Cour Smith. Now on the baseline, Hall not choosing to shoot the three. Byrd to the corner. Ja'Cour Smith drives right by, up and under, no good. Wild shot, wasn't even close. Now Wild back the other way. A lob deflected and kept in bounds by Lynn Greer. Good hands by Chris Ings. Ings puts it off the leg of Lynn Greer. And that should be going back the other way. Let's see if the referee had a different angle. That wasn't even close. That one was 100% off the leg of Lynn Greer, and Carl Arragale can't believe it. 3 referees and nobody can get that call right. It's disappointing. Now Lynn Greer drives inside, shoulders contact, the foul is called. They're going to wave off the shot. And that's the right call as he was bear hugged by Chris Ings. Lynn Greer will inbound underneath the offensive basket for the Cahillites. Lob comes to Duran, spins over the left shoulder, too strong off the glass, gets his own rebound, thought he was fouled. Jordan Hall very clearly fouled Jalen Duran, and that time the whistle stays silent to the benefit of Newman Goretti. Out of bounds it goes, and Roman Catholic gets the ball back. Louis Wild at the top of the key, guarded by Chris Evans. Takes a ball screen, tough shot for Louis Wild. It doesn't draw any iron, not a good look. Here comes Byrd the other way, drops it off for Hall. Hall on the drive to the foul line, pulls up, Ings to the corner, Evans for 3, no good. Knocked out of bounds, last touched by Jalen Duran. It'll stay here. Ja'Cour Smith standing at only 6'3", a forward for Newman Goretti, went up high, met Duran at the summit, and forced it off Duran's hands and out of bounds. Now Byrd, a wing 3, is good. Stepped into that one. Great job by number 0, Chris Ings, to draw 2 defenders in the zone. Pitched the bounce pass over to Byrd, and in rhythm, he strokes it. 1-point lead for Roman Catholic. Hakeem Hart with a lob for Lundy, way over his head, and Byrd comes up with it. No numbers for Newman, doesn't matter, goes right at him, counted and one. Chris Ings runs through Lynn Greer, sliding just a little bit to the baseline. Ings finishes off the glass and has one more coming at the line. Newman Goretti has a lead for the first time since they led to start the third quarter. Lynn Greer will take a seat. Justice Williams into the game. This is very interesting. Lynn Greer, I wouldn't say has had his best night, but he does run the show offensively. What will Roman be able to do offensively with Justice Williams as the one? Chris Ings hits the free throw, completes the old-fashioned three-point play, and makes it 46-44 Newman Goretti. Final stages of the third quarter here on Bob Long Sports. Louis Wild has it up near the logo. Roman Catholic dressed in the home white uniforms, moving from left to right. And that pass is deflected out of bounds. Unfortunate for Newman Goretti. Ings made the deflection thinking that Williams was making a back cut. He had stopped it. It would have flown out of bounds. But Ings knocks it into the student section. Roman Catholic with an opportunity. Inside they go. Great defense. Shakur Smith knocks it away from Hart. Here comes Bird in transition. Evans, extra pass for Hall. Hall got his defender in the air, drops back for Smith, and Newman Goretti will slow it down. Chris Ings at the top of the key. 1:06 to play. He got direction from Carl Aragel. They're going to slow it down. The question is, will they try to take the last shot as we're now under a minute to go in the third? Ings drives to his right, all the way to the hoop. He's fouled. Fouled down low by Hakeem Hart. That's the third personal foul against Hakeem Hart, and Chris Ings, who's been able to get to the basket nearly at will, goes to the line. Doesn't say much for what happens when he gets there because Jalen Duran stands in there at 6'9". But he has done an adroit job at getting to the hole, drawing contact, and this time makes the first foul shot, 47-44. Chris Ings at the charity stripe, a little short on the second. And Roman Catholic comes back the other way. Led by Justice Williams, the true freshman, number 11, standing at 6'3". A lot put on his shoulders, kicked it, and nearly went out of bounds. And a timeout very quickly called by Matt Griffin, and well done. So Justice Williams got a half step ahead of himself, ended up kicking the ball as he was dribbling it. Louis Wild, very adept to come over and save that before it went out of bounds into the Catholic bench. And Matt Griffin, the head coach, very aware, calls the timeout. Follow us on Twitter at Bob Long Sports. When we're not calling Philadelphia Catholic League basketball games, we're doing video talk shows for Villanova basketball, for Penn State football, and we also call LaSalle College High School basketball during the regular season and LaSalle College High School football. But today, honored by the opportunity to call both games of the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals. The first was a great one, LaSalle 49, Bishop McDevitt 41. This one headed to be a much higher scoring game as Newman Goretti leads Roman Catholic 47-34. Roman Catholic with 37 seconds left. We're back to action. Justice Williams has the basketball. Lynn Greer back into the game. Matt Griffin, a smart play knowing that this is going to be the last offensive possession, so no need to worry about Greer and his third fouls. And a fastball thrown inside intended for Duran, but it went right through his hands. Lundy, way too much heat on that one. So it will be Newman Goretti to get the last possession, and perhaps they do attack the body of Lynn Greer on the drive. He's got 3 personals. 13 seconds left. This is Ings at the logo. Now down to 8, guarded by Lundy. Ings spins, back for Chris Smith. A runner in the lane, won't go. And that's the end of the third quarter, and Seth Lundy and Chris Ings getting into it. Seth Lundy absolutely the aggressor on that one, and the referees come right over to him and tell him to knock it off. No need for Seth Lundy to throw an arm at Chris Ings as he went to the bench. Referees did a good job, though. This is a game of too much magnitude. They broke up the guys and said, stop it. Nothing but a slap on the wrist, and you don't want a game like this tarnished by technical fouls or anything of that nature. We have gone through 3 quarters here at the Palestra. Newman Goretti 47, Roman Catholic 44. The broadcast is an audio-only broadcast live on Bob Long Sports. That's Bob Long Sports on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook under that same moniker and on the internet, boblongsports.com. The Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals at the Palestra are brought to you by Under Armour, the official sponsor of the Philadelphia Catholic League. Once again, Roman Catholic quickly out of the huddle. Newman Goretti late. Roman Catholic dressed in the home white uniforms. Newman Goretti in the road blacks. It'll be the Saints to start with the basketball to begin the fourth quarter, moving from right to left. Saints maintain their three-point lead. Chris Ings handles the basketball. Roman Catholic has been into and out of a zone all night. They're now out of the zone, back in the man-to-man. Hakeem Bird on the wing, hands off for Ings, has had a lot of success dribbling the basketball and penetrating to the hole. Bird will pull it back to the logo and start things over again. Hall has it on the left wing. Hall takes a screen from Smith. Smith on the roll, couldn't find him though. Now Bird. Bird, it's taken off his hands, a big-time block by Lynn Greer. Now Lundy loses the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Chris Ings. And now a referee's going to come in and make the change. Lundy just lost it out of bounds. Good teamwork from the officials, and Newman will get it back. The 5 on the floor for the Saints. Jordan Hall, Chris Evans, Jakor Smith, and Hakeem Bird. For Roman Catholic, Jalen Duran, Louis Wild, Hakeem Hart, Seth Lundy, and Lynn Greer. 7:07 to play. Evans, a deep three. No good. It hit the back iron, went tantalizingly high and off the back iron and over the rim. So out of bounds, back to Roman Catholic. Evans started out the game hot. He hit 2 threes early on. And now takes a seat. In his place comes Cameron Young. Hakeem Hart comes to the three-point line, to the top of the key. A skip pass, barely got to Lynn Greer. A step-back three is good. Greer hits the three and ties it at 47. Chris Ings went for a steal on a very soft pass, nearly got there. Hand went over the basketball, which allowed Lynn Greer all the time he needed to tee it up. 6:30 to go. Ings drives, mid-range, good. From just high of the elbow, Chris Ings with one power dribble off the ball screen. He is hot. Newman Goretti, 2-point lead. Here's a drive. Lundy, top of the key three, no good. Tipped up by Duran. Greer comes up with it amongst the trees and so strong off the glass and good. Lynn Greer. Now Ings came down with a full head of steam and will pull it back. Hakeem Bird with the handoff for Ings. Now they run the weave. Jakor Smith. Ings given an open three. Elects to drive inside. Wild shot off the glass. Somehow it goes. He went underhand and put some English on it. I guess that's one way to get it above Jalen Duran. Matt Griffin thought there was a travel. 51-49. Newman Goretti. Greer on the drive. Gets to the foul line. In the lane. Poked at and fouled. This should go against Jordan Hall, and it will. That's Jordan Hall's third personal, comes with 5:24 to play in the fourth quarter. Bob Long here on play-by-play. Mara Long, can't thank her enough for doing stats and scores with us here. Lundy underneath after a tough inbound and somehow puts it up over the taller Jordan Hall and stares at Hall on his way back down the floor. 51 apiece, 5:08 to play. Newman's going to slow it down a little bit. Matt Griffin imploring his team to stay in it defensively. They're going to let them stay in the base zone. Greer going out to guard him. Griffin's telling him to stay away. Now Ings drives past, hands off for Bird. Cameron Young has it top of the key. Back for Ings on the right wing. 4:40 to play as Ings gets inside, poked away by Louis Wild. What a great defensive play by Wild, the senior. Hakeem Hart in transition, tough shot, rolls it home off the glass. Counted and one. Cameron Young called for the foul. Hart just seeks out the contact. And an exquisite finish. Hakeem Hart shoots one more at the line. Roman Catholic, a 2-point lead, make it 3. First lead of the fourth quarter. Just about halfway home here in the fourth quarter. Live from the Palestra, the Philadelphia Catholic League semifinals, brought to you by Under Armour. Live on Bob Long Sports. Here's Ings dropping it off, and Bird's going to be patient up near the Penn logo at center court. A handoff for Hall, and Newman runs the weave. Cahillites of Roman Catholic dressed in the home whites in a matchup zone as Ings to the basket, counted and one. Just a little swipe by Lynn Greer, and that was enough. Ings, a spectacular finish in the lane as he dents it across on the back rim, and it falls peacefully through the rim. Chance to tie it with 4:04 to play here in the fourth. Ings bends at the knees. The lefty hits it. It hit the square back of the iron, popped straight into the air, and went down. 54. Full timeout on the floor, called after the free throw make by Chris Ings. Worth noting, as we're tied here with 4 minutes left, Roman Catholic won the one and only meeting against Newman Goretti earlier this year. That was played at Roman Catholic, and it was a 79-76 overtime win. Could we be headed for the same here tonight? Carl Arregal, the longtime head coach of Newman Goretti, one of the best that this league has to offer and has ever offered, talks it over with his team in the huddle right now. Newman Goretti is the 4 seed. I think to a man, Arregal would tell you, not the regular season he was looking for, but he's learned more and more about his team. They've had to stomach some losses that perhaps a Newman Goretti team isn't used to taking. A loss to a LaSalle team that ended up being the number 2 seed in the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. A loss to a Bishop McDevitt team who ended up number 3 and to the Palestra for the first time since 1989. So is there a changing of the guard in the Catholic League? I don't know. But Newman Goretti still has spectacular talent, and they're hanging step for step with Roman Catholic, who's been the class of the Catholic League all year. What does Arregal have in store for the next 4 minutes and 4 seconds? And what can this battle-tested Roman Catholic team, with Matt Griffin at the helm, what can they do? Reigning 6A state champions, reigning Philadelphia Catholic League champions. They've done it all. Now with 2 new freshmen. And Lundy for 3, out of the timeout, no good. Hart brought down and is fouled by Hakeem Bird. Pretty clear foul. And that's the 8th team foul against Newman Goretti. So big foul shots coming up here for Hakeem Bird. He'll shoot the front end of the bonus. And my mistake, actually the 7th team foul on Newman Goretti. Just give the score keeper down on the scorer's table incredible credit for getting that 7th foul up there before I turned my head. First free throw goes for Hakeem Hart. Here's the second, and it's good. Roman Catholic leads by 2 with 3:41 to play. Newman Goretti dressed in the road blacks, moving from right to left. Roman Catholic in the home whites defending the basket to my left. Off a high ball screen, Ings dives to the tin, shoulders contact, counted and one. Unbelievable offense run by Newman Goretti. A double high ball screen at the top of the key. Put Ings onto a matchup off the dribble against Jalen Duran. Duran had his hands up but put the lower half of the body into Chris Ings. Ings takes that contact, bounces off, finishes with the right hand to avoid the shot blocker coming from the left side. And Ings makes the foul shot to make it 57-56 Newman Goretti. Ings has been tremendous here tonight, pacing the Newman Goretti Saints. Now Roman Catholic back the other way on the right wing, skip pass to the left wing for Wild. Top of the key three, Lynn Greer, nothing but net. Good ball movement as Roman Catholic crosses the floor, gets Newman Goretti out of position, and Lynn Greer, with a decent closeout in his face, fires it over the top and hits the three. Now Ings spins, gets to the foul line. Here's a three from the corner, is good! Cameron Young off the assist from Chris Ings, and back and forth we go. Newman Goretti 60, Roman Catholic 59. These teams are firing on all cylinders here in the second half. What a game. What a game here at the Palestra. A special atmosphere for those that are here, and for those listening along, thank you so much for your support of Bob Long Sports and your support of Philadelphia Catholic League basketball. There may be no better stage for amateur athletics than the Palestra and the Philadelphia Catholic League playoffs. Basketball is a religion here in Philadelphia. And the PIAA state playoffs, boy, they are important as well. State championships mean the world. But there is something about the bragging rights locally about winning the Catholic League that causes these teams of unbelievable talent to go at it every single year. Now Lynn Greer back down the court, feeds back for Hart. That three is good. Hakeem Hart in the face of Cameron Young on the way back down the floor. He's got to be careful of a potential technical foul called for taunting. But Kaolites back to the huddle, full timeout as Hakeem Hart hits the three from near the top of the key off the assist from Lynn Greer. Hart, the leading scorer for the Kaolites this year, going to St. Joe's next year, and unfinished business as he goes for two straight as one of the leaders of this team in the Catholic League and the state level, trying to spearhead another run. Roman Catholic leads by two, 62-60, 2:33 to go, fourth quarter. A lot of folks watching us on our Twitter app right now and our YouTube, so appreciate that. It's Bob Long Sports on Twitter and on the YouTube page. You can find this broadcast at boblongsports.com as well. Not certain whether we'll be back on Monday night or not. Of course, that's the hope. But give us a follow at Bob Long Sports for all those programming updates that you desire. The winner of this one will face LaSalle College High School Monday night, 8:15. Back to action. Chris Evans has it on the baseline, feeds back for Jakor Smith, top of the key. Guarded by Duran, fires for three, no good. Not particularly close, but he had the matchup with Duran playing off him. Now 2:10 to play, Hakeem Hart has it. Hart gets a switch on to Smith. Roman Catholic can afford to be patient, 2 minutes left. Remember last year in the Catholic League Final, they took about 1:30 off the clock before taking the last shot. That game was tied. Greer flips back for Lundy. Top of the key three. No good. Pulled down by Newman. Ings comes the other way. 3-on-3. Hall for three. Too strong. Actually, just a little bit short. It went off the front rim, off the glass, and then oh so fatefully hung on the rim. Now could have been an offensive foul. Instead, Hart goes to the basket. Counted and one. Hakeem Hart very clearly with a hook. Carl Aragale halfway out, almost to midcourt. I can understand his upset. Boy, I can understand that. Then clearly a foul once that foul doesn't get called, and Hart so strong to the basket. But absolutely a missed call as Hart wrapped the arm around the defender to get the leverage to get to the basket. Clear as day. Free throw is good. Now Evans for three, it's blocked. Blocked by Hart on a corner three. So Hakeem Hart scores on one end and then counters on the other with an unbelievable block, perhaps a game saver. 1:08 to play. Newman's going to be forced to foul. They have 8 team fouls. Who do they want to put on the line? Almost doesn't matter. You got to foul somebody. Greer has it now, and Chris Evans is called for the personal. 9th team foul against Newman Goretti. Lynn Greer will go to the line to shoot the front end of the 1-and-1. Greer's foul shot is good. For those of you basketball lovers out there, tomorrow is Division III conference tournament time. Swarthmore against Washington College, locally here in Philadelphia, in the first game, and then also local Ursinus will play Johns Hopkins. That doubleheader will be available Friday night on the Garnet Sports Network, Swarthmore's broadcast entity. Now a giveaway by Newman Goretti on the other side. Goes right through the hands of Chris Evans on the pass from Jakor Smith. So now Roman ball, they lead by 7. 50.9 to play. Roman Catholic starting to feel it. Newman Goretti is going to have to get a turnover. Easily inbounded to Hart. Triple team comes on Hart, out of bounds, last touch by Cameron Young. A good strip, but he couldn't control it. Roman Catholic will inbound underneath their own offensive basket. Greer has it on the far side, and he's fouled by Chris Ings. He'll shoot 2 at the line. That's the 10th team foul against Newman Goretti. Lynn Greer hits the first. An admirable effort this evening from Newman Goretti. And a tremendous effort from Roman Catholic as well. One thing I think we'll think about for some time here is the very clear push-off by Hakeem Hart when the game was just a 2-point differential. Now Hakeem Bird all the way to the rim, and that one just won't fall. It hung on the rim for about 3 seconds and came off. Rebound down to Roman Catholic, and Lynn Greer once again will shoot 2 at the line. Roman Catholic are nearly there. But to finish the point, Newman Goretti would have gotten the ball down 2 with about a minute left. Instead, Hakeem Hart finished at the rim, took contact for a foul, and hit the foul shot. Made it a 5-point lead. And Roman Catholic has been dynamite from the line in the final minute. 69-60 after Greer's first free throw make. Second one, back iron, no. Still a 3-possession game. Newman Goretti to the rim. Tough shot, and it falls off the glass for Chris Ings. Timeout called by Carl Aragale with 26.2 seconds to play. So unless Newman Goretti can mount an unbelievable comeback, it will be a rematch of what was a matchup of the top two teams in the Philadelphia Catholic League that occurred on February the 1st. Roman Catholic versus LaSalle. It'll be at 8:15 on Monday evening. Tickets available through the Palestra box office. And that is one I am telling you, I promise you, that you won't want to miss. The girls' game will come first at 6:30, and then the boys' game will be at 8:15 in the same time slot that this Newman Goretti Roman Catholic game was tonight. It is one of the great sporting events all year in Philadelphia, and you still have that chance to be part of it. Go to the University of Pennsylvania ticket office, and you can buy very affordable seats for the Palestra for Monday night. Again, we hope to be calling it here on Bob Long Sports. We'll await final word there. Hakeem Hart is fouled immediately after the inbound off the timeout. He will shoot 2 at the line. I want to thank Joe Winning, who was my color commentator for the first game. Didn't leave me high and dry at all here for the second, as I lost my voice and have to get it back for Monday. Just kidding. Love you, Joe. Thanks for being here. A true professional on color commentary. Thanks to Mara Long, who has been diligently working all night to keep the scoreboard updated. So while this is a radio and an audio broadcast, you can be alert at all times to the time and score. Second one, no good for Hakeem Hart. Ings quickly down the floor, gets to the rim, up and under. Beautiful finish. With 17.1 seconds to play, a timeout called by Carl Aragale. And for what it is worth, it is a 2-possession game. Once again, we mentioned on Bob Long Sports, we do a lot of things. So for the sports fan in Philadelphia, we are your spot. Weekly Villanova basketball talk shows in the winter, weekly Penn State football talk shows in the fall. That's Monday evening for both of those shows, studio shows. We call LaSalle College High School basketball and LaSalle College High School football. And then we also, just this year, right across the street, called Drexel Hockey in the class of 1923 arena that's located on the campus of University of Pennsylvania. So we have a lot of fun with that. So many sports to get involved in, but of course, pride and joy in many ways is Philadelphia Catholic League basketball as Roman quickly inbounds it, and Hakeem Hart is fouled with 9.9 seconds to play. He can all but salt it away with one free throw. This is the Philadelphia Catholic League Championships at the Palestra, presented by Under Armour. Hakeem Hart with the first and hits it. Huge free throw there. Makes it a 3-possession game and all but evaporates any opportunity for Newman Goretti. Second one is good for Hakeem Hart. 72-64. Newman Goretti will roll it up the floor. Ings gets all the way to the rim, is blocked by Jalen Dern, and a foul is called. 4.2 to go. That one looked relatively clean from where I sat. But Dern called for the foul. Ings will pad his already unbelievable point total. Ings gets the first to drop through the cylinder. Ings' second is good. 72-66. Final 4 seconds. Newman Goretti won't foul. And that's your ball game. Lynn Greer with a peace sign directed towards the Newman Goretti students as Roman Catholic finishes off the win, 72-66. The finale of 2 unbelievable basketball games here at the Palestra. Both games were close. Both games were entertaining. Both games were played at a very high level. But at the end of the day, on Monday night, it's number 1 versus number 2. And how else would you want it? Roman Catholic against LaSalle at the Palestra on Monday evening starting at 8:15. Romans only lost 1 time in the Catholic League, and it was to Bonner Prendergast. LaSalle has lost twice in the Catholic League. Once to Roman Catholic, once to Archbishop Carroll, and they were in successive games. Very clearly, the 2 best teams in the Catholic League this year will face off against one another in the league's most fantastic exhibition. And I can't wait. And I hope we're part of it. Thanks everybody for being with us here tonight for 2 semifinal games broadcast in an audio radio fashion. And boy, it was fun for me getting back to my roots, which absolutely 100% was radio. Video has been fantastic in recent years, and obviously wish we could have brought it to you in video, but there is something special about telling the story in a radio setting, especially from a palace that is the Palestra. And it was my pleasure to live this night with all of you that have been with us for the last 4+ hours. I appreciate it. I appreciate Joe Winning being with me as a color commentator. I appreciate my wife, Mara Long, being with me doing the scores. That was a huge part of making this a great atmosphere and really a good way to showcase our radio broadcast tonight. And I thank the community of Philadelphia who cares so much about basketball at the high school level, and it really is pure, isn't it? Thanks for being with us for so long. The final of Game 1, LaSalle 49, Bishop McDevitt 41. LaSalle, the first to advance, and then Roman Catholic finishes off Newman Goretti late with some clutch free throws down the stretch. They win 72-66 over the number 4 seed Newman Goretti. So it will be number 1 Roman versus number 2 LaSalle on Monday night at the Palestra. And why not? It doesn't get bigger, and it doesn't get better. Good evening, everybody, from University City, Philadelphia, the Cathedral of College Basketball, the Palestra. I am Bob Long saying so long, and we can't wait to talk to everybody soon. Good night.